For those of you here in the paddock today and for those of you tuning in live around the world, welcome to Amarillo Kart Complex for the final day of action here at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. We're getting set to kick off with our final bit of free coverage this weekend with the third round of heat races. Main events will be live later today at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central on KC Premium exclusively. But for now, you can tune in anywhere you want for free here on YouTube to watch the action. And we're live in the paddock as Royal Electric Micro Swift gets set to get underway. Aston Wyatt on the inside, Colton Schneegenberg on the outside. And we will not get the green on the first time by. A couple of starts yesterday through that turn 1-2 chicane complex were a little bit hairy, Caleb. So today I'm sure they're even more on top of trying to keep the speeds down and nice and slow going into that heavy braking zone that really bottlenecks the field if they get in a little bit too hot.
Yeah, Saturday is kind of the day where you're amped up a little bit, but you're trying to get it to Sunday. Sunday, especially with the third heat and the final heat, that's when you're like, all right, got to put the pressure on, get ready to go. Surprisingly, there's only maybe 3 or 4 classes that we had last year where turn 1 actually caused some major issues. I'm sure today, though, especially when it comes time for the feature, that's where we're going to see maybe a little bit more issues. And something else that's interesting to me, I think this is the first time, aside from Kid Kart this weekend, that we've had to do a call-off start and send it back around.
Yeah, this is one of the first thrown-off starts here this week. So we will wait and see as they begin to form their way around. Now you can see that clock in the top left-hand corner of your screen is counting down. When they do abort a start, the timer still runs for the heat race. So depending how long they parade around, this could eat into the time decently, but it at least gives us a moment and opportunity to take you through the starting lineup for how this field will take the green. Again, you can see on the inside, it's the number 21, red, black, and white, Alan Rudolph Racing Academy Bureau Art of Aston Wyatt. On the outside, that blue and red, Team GWR Energy of Colton Schneegenberg, who was able to take both of the heat race wins yesterday. Moving on back to row number 2, it's the black and orange Sodi Racing USA machine of Pasha Ali, and to his outside, the Trackside Karting Services GFC of Cade Casper. Marcelo Flores on the green and white Tony Kart will start on the inside of row 3. To his outside, a fellow Tony Kart in, I believe, Andrew Anastasio on the Kart Style Performance machine. Then you finally go to the last row of the grid to find the number 51 of Tanner Barsh, and alongside him the number 59 blue and red comp cart of Wyatt Slider. So those will be the 8 drivers that form up for our first of 11 classes here today. You can check out the schedule on the Texas Sprint Racing Series official website and Facebook page as well if you want to know when your favorite driver is on the racetrack. And for those of you tuning in here this morning, go ahead and hop on into the chat. Let us know where you are watching from, who you're rooting for. We'll give shout-outs throughout the day, and we'll let the drivers that you're rooting on know that they've got your support. We're green down at turn number 1, side by side up front, a little cleaner start on attempt number 2, and a great jump. Look at Cade Casper quickly from the second row on 4th down into 2nd as he gets around Colton Schneegenberg and goes right to the rear bumper of his teammate in 206 Cadet Aston Wyatt through the 4-5-6 S's section for the very first time. So it's Aston Wyatt leading, Cade Casper 2nd, Colton Schneegenberg in 3rd. 4th looks to be Andrew Anastasio in the Tony Kart, the number 43. So we're green with 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go here on the timetable as they'll round turn 7 and head to that quad apex left-hand turn number 8 right here. 4 apexes throughout the corners. You can see the curbs are split apart. It's a full throttle, high G-force load section that shoots them onto this long back straightaway, and now you'll see a big run. Colton Schneegenberg looking for 2nd. He'll take advantage of the slipstream off of Cade Casper early in this one to retake the runner-up spot and lock back on to hunting down Aston Wyatt, who leads us into turn number 11 for the end of the first lap at full speed.
Cade Casper going straight to the back bumper of Colton Schneegenberg, giving a little bit of a push there going into turn 11. And I think this may be unfamiliar territory for Colton Schneegenberg. The first heat race he had yesterday fought a little bit with himself and I believe Aston Wyatt along with Pasha Ali. Pasha Ali got shuffled back there on the start. I'm sure we'll see him as we go farther forward. But now he's in 2nd, relying on Cade Casper a little bit that last lap. Now he's starting to pull away, although when the draft comes into effect, you'll probably see Cade Casper closing up to his back bumper, giving him a push as Schneegenberg is doing the same to Aston Wyatt in front.
Yeah, Aston Wyatt and Colton Schneegenberg have been the class of the field thus far, and Cade Casper looks like he woke up and ate his Wheaties this morning. He's hanging with the 2 leaders as we work through lap number 2 at full speed. Behind him, the update on where everybody was at the end of the opening lap. It was Pasha Ali in 4th, Andrew Anastasio 5th, Marcelo Flores and Tanner Barsh, along with Anastasio all in a little 3-car grouping, 5th, 6th, and 7th. with Wyatt Slider just a little ways back in the 8th spot. So all by his lonesome is Pasha Ali. Unfortunately, that's been his story most of the weekend. Just a little bit more speed to find and a bit of a better start might have helped him out while the leaders continue to pull away. There's a look at the Sodi Racing USA machine. There's a look at that 3-car group in the midfield. Andrew Anastasio in the 43. The number 12 green and white Tony card is Marcelo Flores. He wants the 5th spot. He'll take it away into turn number 11, and he'll bring Tanner Barsh through, and now Barsh is going to over-under both of them. He'll get through. Slick move from Tanner Barsh, and he'll take over the 5th spot headed to turn 1.
Yeah, the Barsh saw the opportunity, took advantage of it. Now he's going to go to the front of the pack. Interesting to see if Flores decides to work with them or if he tries to go back and forth. Seeing as these guys are grouped up in a pack of 3, they still have a little bit to catch up to the 4th placement of Pasha Ali, and they got a lot to go to catch back up to the top 3 leaders. They continue to go back and forth. There's Florence back up onto point now, so now that's going to push Barsh back 1 more position into P6. But while they're going back and forth like this, the top 3 slowly starting to pull away from the field. Gap now between third placement of Cade Casper to Pasha Ali is about 3.8 seconds. And then the gap between Pasha Ali to Tanner Barsh is another 2.1. So roughly about 6 seconds in total they have to make up to get to the front. But right now with the minute 20 plus 2 laps, they're just trying to battle out for that 5th position. Yeah,
they've pulled away from Andrew Anastasio now here on this lap. Big curb jump there for Tanner Barsh. Gets you some here on this Sunday morning. And speaking of getting some, how about Colton Schneegenberg pushing away with Aston Wyatt? Now, working with him for the last lap or so, they have started to drop Cade Casper off the back end of the train and make it a 2-horse race for the lead and the win in the final heat on the weekend. And for Colton Schneegenberg already having 2 heat wins, doesn't need to win this one, just needs to run probably second, and that'll clinch the pole position for the main, but he'll still want to get it. It always feels good when you're able to bat 100 and clean sweep the weekend's official sessions again. He wasn't able to do that with the pole award in qualifying, but he's been perfect so far, 2 for 2 with heat race wins in the 2 heats we ran yesterday afternoon. Track conditions a little bit cooler this morning here, right around the lower 70 degrees, pushing up into the high 70s, and we'll get into the 80s very quickly here today under the hot Texas summer sun here in the northern panhandle. For those watching, this is the midpoint of the 2023 Texas Sprint Racing Series season. They'll have another race coming up in about a month's time at the beginning of August in Rimrock Raceway for that track's first ever appearance on the TSRS calendar out in West Texas in Odessa. And then into the season will conclude in mid-September at the Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston for the championship finale, as has been a mainstay part of the calendar. Down the front stretch now, 2 to go as the timer hits 0, and a little fade to the inside, then back up to the line for Aston Wyatt. He feels the pressure from Schneegenberg, but I think Colton's going to probably wait a little bit longer, maybe. Right now, Aston's feeling like he might go, so he's going to defend the inside into turn number 4. This will start to back them up, and that, again, could be good stuff for Aston Wyatt if he can back him into Cade Casper and force Schneegenberg to be both on defense and offense. Right now, he's full on offense. He can open up as he is right there to set up for crossovers all day long. Here comes one coming out of 7, and I think he will get fully clear, and he does. Colton Schneegenberg, a nice move to take over the lead through the turn 8 complex.
That battle back and forth there for the past 3 or 4 corners has already allowed Cade Casper to close back up. Now he was in the field of view. Now you can see him just off in that back left corner as they go side by side. Schneegenberg defending off of Ashton Wyatt. Wyatt still going back and forth, and here comes Cade Casper now up in the 3rd spot. He's going to try to take it for second. Drag race down into turn 11. He's holding the outside line.
Side by side. They're going to go 3 wide for the lead. Turn 11. Aston Wyatt in the middle. Schneegenberg on the bottom side. That's going to get tight into the corner. Schneegenberg nearly got turned there, and now Cade Casper has to go monster trucking in the dirt as down the front straightaway. White flag in the air. 1 to go. Schneegenberg defending a little bit. Didn't have to, though, as they got so tripped up behind him. The gap now is 3 car lengths that'll slowly get eaten up as they rocket over to turn 4. But for now, normal line being able to be taken by Colton Schneegenberg. He's got enough breathing room out back. Cade Casper, again, into it, had a shot there, took it on the outside, could not pay off as they rocket over to turn number 7.
He may have one more shot at it if it stays a little calm there with Cade Casper and Ashton Wyatt. He's tucked back into the toe of Colton Schneegenberg, and he's starting to pull heavily now, coming out of turn number 6, heading into 7 now, and he's pushing right on the back bumper, heading into the sweeper. He may have 1, possibly 2 chances at it, and if you're Cade Casper, sit in the catbird seat, and this is what you're loving right now. Schneegenberg defending the inside, Ashton Wyatt forcing the issue on the outside.
Side by side, final time through turns 9 and 10. Schneegenberg gets clear, no change. They'll run on the bend. Here comes the last run into turn number 11. Schneegenberg defending low. Aston Wyatt going to go high. Casper's too far away to do too much. Wyatt's going to nose ahead. He'll force Sneekenberg a game of chicken in the braking zone. Cross him over coming out. He's going to have the nose on the inside. Sneekenberg has to give way, and Aston Wyatt is going to win heat number 3 with a nice over-under move onto the front straightaway. Forced Sneekenberg to go deep because he was tempting him like he might pass him around the outside. And then as soon as he got hard onto the brake, Sneekenberg released the pedal. He crossed him up and beats him to the line. Casper, all he could do was watch that battle from third. Ends up just a tenth and a quarter back at the line. Fourth to Posh Ali, who hits his personal best on that final lap. A decent lap, but still needing some more speed to contend with the top 2. Tanner Barsh ends 5th. Marcelo Flores 6th. Andrew Anastasio and Wyatt Slider, your 8-car field, as 7 laps are completed for heat number 3. So there's a look at them as they wrapped up the final heat for the Micro Swifts. They'll park them and kick off our main event show later today at the top of the hour for 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. Here's a look at all the classes to come on the lineup. 206 Heavy rides in the 2nd seed. Rimrock Raceway Honda Kid Card in the 3rd spot. Then Mini Swift is 4th up. 206 Senior has always been fun to watch. It's in the middle of our lineup in the 5th spot. Then KA Master, KA Junior, Open Shifter in the 8th seed. 206 Cadet, 206 Junior, 9th and 10th. And then, of course, rounding out batting cleanup at the end of the lineup is KA Senior in the 11th seed. So there's your lineup and how the day goes. Again, you can check the exact time schedule of when everyone's on track at the Texas Sprint Racing Series official website. We'll take this moment to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it'll be time for the 206 Heavies presented by Maxwell Paper Products to take to the racetrack.
Welcome to Rimrock Raceway, the premier karting facility and motorsport-themed venue in West Texas. While you're at the track, be sure to stop in to Victory Lane and enjoy our full-service bar and event center. We have live music and entertainment weekly, along with Texas's fastest go-karts available to the public. Located on West Highway 80 in Odessa, get your adrenaline pumping at Rimrock Raceway and live life full throttle.
Welcome back to Amarillo Kart Complex for a decently sized field in 206 Heavy at 14 strong. We'll get set for the final heat race of the weekend for them here. It is Ross Smith picking up where he left off from North Texas Kartways with the pole in qualifying, and has been solid through the heat races thus far in the Maxwell Paper Products sponsored OTK. Jorge Ruiz there in the Jam Racing Tony Kart starts on the outside of row number 1. Then it's Richard Fogarty back on row number 2 on the inside there in the Tony Kart 2 is outside of Max Martinez in 4th. Kyle Uchinsky was set to roll in the 2nd row, but I don't know if he's on the racetrack right now. I don't see him. So I'm not sure what the deal is for Kyle Uchinsky, but he is not out there here for heat number 3 in 206 Heavy, maybe opting to focus on that KA100 Master Division that he's been running full-time all year long. Maybe just hanging out, and he'll try and come back for the main event. Either way, it'll shake the grid order a little bit. You see Noah Murphy there on the inside. He rolls in the 5th spot there on that black and white GFC karting trackside karting services machine. Here comes the field onto the front stretch. So 13 drivers instead of the 14 with Uchinsky as a scratch for heat number 3. We get into the box, get set to go, and Ross Smith will power through down to turn number 1 as Ruiz on the outside tries to get into 2nd, and around off the bat goes Christopher Ramke there in the 515. He'll get back going, but a slow roll, and oh no, two more together. Richard Fogarty, Max Martinez connected here at the exit of turn number 2. They are stuck on top of each other, and they will try to get disconnected here. Martinez trying to get up, Fogarty trying to get up. Their day already starting off rough as they try to get their karts disconnected there. Now they'll get them fully cleared from each other. Damage to Richard Fogarty's engine there. He's going to try and power up and at least get back out. Same for Max Martinez, and we'll wait and see if they can continue. Meanwhile, up front, Jorge Ruiz locking right onto the bumper of Ross Smith as they come out of turn number 8.
Yeah, Ruiz giving a good push there to Ross Smith. Already opened up about a 5 kart gap between himself and I believe that maybe Murphy there running now in the 3rd spot. Oh, a little loose there went Ruiz going into turn 6, back end kicked out, managed to save it, but he's already lost a significant amount of time. Now Ross Smith able to pull away. There's Ruiz making a check back as we have another one off the track. That is the 518, and I believe that's a little bit Steve Moore, if I'm not mistaken. They're running back in the 13th spot. So already a little bit of a hectic start here in lap 1 with spacing out in the front and cart spinning off.
We saw Macon Moore have to come through the field every single heat. He's done it again. Great start for the Louisiana native as he's worked his way up to P4 and is already on the bumper of Noah Murphy for 3rd. That's that black and red machine headed down the chute to turn 4. They'll get a big run up to Ruiz. Moore not going to go there. We'll wait and see what Macon wants to do, if he wants to ride for a little bit behind Noah Murphy or if he wants to try and get to the front of this group. As again, with that one mistake from Jorge Ruiz, all it took to allow Ross Smith to get away. And now Noah Murphy looking. Here comes Macon Moore to the inside. This is for 3rd, turn 7. He'll get clear. Nice move from Macon Moore, and he'll pick up another spot. That puts him 9 up from the tail end of the field.
Okay, you saw Moore's hand in the air trying to give a little bit of a sign there to Murphy to give a push. These 3 together independently probably cannot close up the gap to Ross Smith because of the gap that Smith has. They're out of the towing distance. However, if they connect together and start doing a little bit of a bump draft or the train mentality, they might be able to close it down. But 4 minutes and 40-some seconds left plus 2 laps. There's time to do it, but Murphy dropped a wheel and he's now losing track of it. So now it's down to Ruiz and Moore if they're able to get together and push each other back up to Ross Smith, your leader.
Yeah, we'll see if Macon Moore is going to be able to work with Jorge Ruiz to hunt down our current race leader. Again, Macon's going to get himself a much better starting spot with all of his heat performances, make it a lot easier in the main event later this afternoon with a number of runs through the grid. Now he'll get a run on Ruiz. Ruiz says, you know what? Yeah, all right, go on by. I'll tuck in right behind you and follow you forward. Let's see what we can do. The gap is 1.8 seconds. That time by, even with the pass in turn 7, Macon Moore was only a 10th off the leader. So I think that Ionic Edge chassis he's on is hooked up enough. He might be able to match Ross Smith. If Ruiz can hang on to his coattails and push him on some of the bigger straightaways, he might be able to follow him forward. But Jorge, not the best exit out of turn number 7. The gap will open, and it'll all rest on the shoulders of Macon to see if he can make up the ground to our current race leader. Looking there at the gap, I'd guess a little bit over 2 seconds here. Ross Smith continuing to show the way as we hit the halfway mark, 3.5 minutes in, 3.5 plus 2 laps to go as they come out of turns 9 and 10 and head towards the final chicane.
Yeah, like you said, probably about a 2-second gap between Moore and Smith. But looking at Moore's hands going into turn 7, so smooth at the wheel. He turned it, threw it in at once, and then was able to run it just out. I think Ruiz might be having a couple of issues. You see the back end starting to pick up there. It's skipping out of the corners, almost as if it has too much grip, and it could explain why he had that mistake going into 7. So he's got to settle it back down, and he's right within the towing distance of Moore, but he's on the border about to falling out of it right now. So that's good news for Moore because he'll hold on to the 2nd spot and get all those points, but bad news at the same time is he's got no support to catch Smith.
Yeah, that time by Ross Smith clocked in at a 75.98, a 76.1, 0.2 off the pace for Macon Moore. So Ross Smith still the fastest overall on the racetrack right now. Macon Moore next best, and being 0.2 off, that should be enough that if he's able to stay with Ross from the jump, he could kind of stay in the wake and ride with him. However, tracking him down on his own or going head-to-head lap time-wise, he looks like he doesn't have the edge. Give that to the current race leader. So this one may be one of the more tame heat races we see, as it's normally desperation hour in heat number 3. Of course, I know of a handful of drivers taking today morning warm-up to try out a backup engine if they felt like they were down on power, and maybe opting in the 3rd heat to do an engine change, go to the rear of the grid only for that final heat race and try something different, because at this point of the weekend, there's not a lot of time left to make up speed if you're still lacking pace to the leaders, and that's the unfortunate scenario that everyone in Maxwell Paper Products 206 Heavy find themselves in. Well, except for making more that time by. That was a big-time gain. 75.7 to a 76 flat. Making more, 3/10 better than the race leader. They're still with about 4 laps to go. All he's got to do is put a couple laps together that puts him in that 9 or 8/10 away window. He's 1.7 back, so 2 or 3 more like that. He's going to make it really interesting here coming down to the wire. If he can go all the way from the tail of the field in 12th up or 11th up to the lead, that would be super impressive here for making more.
Yeah, he knows he's closing too. He's getting into the tuck. Haven't seen a whole lot of these 206 heavy guys. The quote-unquote tuck is when you take your head and you put it down to the wheel, trying to make yourself as aerodynamic as possible. But you saw now when he was starting to reel him back in, started to put his head down. There it is now. He looks like he's locked in right now. He thinks that he has a chance at it, and he very well could here by the time the white flag comes out. But like you said, Xander, he's got to get within that 6 to maybe 8/10 of a second range in order to get the draft. He is starting to pull away from Jorge Ruiz. So if he is able to drive from the back of the grid up to the front with very minimal help, that's something that would be very impressive and probably get him a good starting spot in the future this afternoon.
Let's watch them coming out of the chicane here this time by. We'll have 30 seconds and some change left, so this will be 3 laps to go. Next time by, the timer will hit. They'll get 2 to go. That time, another 2/10 gain for making more, but it wasn't major, really more like 10th and a half. He got it down to about a 1.5 seconds to the lead, but he needed more than that as Ross Smith hit his personal best at a 75.9, a 75.76 for making more. So still tracking him down, just again a little bit too far back to challenge. It'll be 2 to go at the stripe, and there's a look at the gap. Again, making more needs to get that number down to a 1 second or less margin. Then the draft will kind of do the rest of the work for him, do most of the heavy lifting. He's already faster by himself, which is impressive on its own and a big boost of confidence to go into the main knowing that you work quicker than everybody else on the racetrack, and if you just start a little bit higher up on the grid, you should be able to walk away with it like what Ross Smith has been able to do in this specific heat race. So for making more, there's a look again. Wide shot gives you an idea of the margins. First to second, second to third. Everyone on the racetrack's pretty spread apart. There's a little midfield battle between Stefan Gallardo in 6th, Nick Miller in 7th, and Madison Knox in 8th. Michaela Bradley's kind of there as well in the 9th spot. So 6th through 9th are pretty close together. Junaid Dean is up 5 spots in the 5th position, but he's a good ways back as well. So here's a look with 2 to go. Another lap improvement from making more. He'll drop it down to a 75.3, a 75.58 for Ross Smith. That's 2/10 better. It's now 1.3 seconds from P1 to P2.
Yeah, he's making up that time, but the question is, does he have enough of it? 2 laps to go. At the rate he's going, about 2 to 3/10 advantage. He's going to have to pull something out of the hat right now. He's going to make up about 4/10 this lap, maybe 3 in order to get the tow him the entire final lap, and then he might have a chance heading into turn 11. But Ross Smith has been keeping it clean. We got 1 turn off. That's the 5:10, if I'm not mistaken. That is Stefan Gallardo, who was running back in the 6th spot. Who's going to fall even farther back through the field.
Yeah, that was out of that midfield pack we just highlighted a moment ago. You can see the gaps on the screen. They're 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. We're all decently close together, and I don't know if Gallardo tried to maybe send it on Junaid Dean, but ultimately he ends up around as we come to the white flag for the leader. Ross Smith will bring him to the line. 1 lap to go for the Maxwell Paper Products driver. He's been able to use up the gap. He took a look over his shoulder there to see making more. Now he'll tuck behind the wheel to try and get a little more aero even down the short front straightaway. He only gave up 0.5 that time by as they both slowed down that lap around. And I think, again, he'll be more than fine to cruise this one to the finish. Ruiz has slipped back to 2.5 seconds away. He's still about 3 to 4/10 off the pace. Even further back is Noah Murphy. He's 8 seconds off the lead, and then 15 back to Junaid Dean, who, again, avoided the carnage that lap. Madison Knox behind him, Michaela Bradley, Nick Miller. Gallardo did get back going, but he's a good ways back. Still ahead of Christopher Ramke, who got collected there on the opening lap, along with Richard Fogarty, Max Martinez. Both of them ended up pulling in, so they'll have a little bit fresher rubber for the main event later today. Here's the final run, though. Down the backstretch into turns 9 and 10. You can see Steve Moore just flash by the screen. Potential lap traffic will not play a factor. He'll be too far away. And Ross Smith in the Maxwell Paper Products sponsored division will come to win heat number 3. That should solidify him for the pole here in the main event. Here he comes out of 11. Final time, 2:06 heavy in the 2nd seed. A tame finish but pressure is coming. Ross Smith wins Heat 3, making more. Fastest lap of the race, and he'll pick up all the way down to 1.3 back from the tail end of the field, starting in 11th. He ends up with a net gain of 10. Jorge Ruiz, Noah Murphy there, 3rd and 4th. Here's that midfield group coming across the line. Junaid Dean will hold on to 5th. On the Kart Racing Solutions Tony Kart, then it'll be Michaela Bradley getting around Nick Miller and Madison Knox on the final lap. She ends up with a net gain of 8 from 14th. Stefan Gallardo there ends 9th. Ramke will end 10th. Steve Moore, 11th. The Texas Sprint Racing Series here. There's a look at the 206 Heavy final results. Again, we mentioned Uchinsky was on the sidelines. Richie Austin, and was the only driver that has been a scratch all weekend, so 14 on the list. Unfortunately, Richard Fogarty, as well as Max Martinez there, they are showed 14th and 15th. No laps completed from that turn 1-2 carnage. They were not able or opted not to continue to finish this one on out. So the results complete there. The TSRS 2024 schedule has slowly come together. There's a look at the dates for 2024. And we've also got 3 of the 5 locations locked down for the next season, which is exciting to say the least to have the schedule all done this early in the year. Of course, we mentioned earlier on this weekend, or earlier on a few weeks ago, that all the national championships had their schedules fully solidified. The Rock Winter Tour and Rock Vegas dates, the SCUSA Super Nationals date was set up later this year, but they now have the 2024 Pro Tour and Winter Series dates in the U.S. Pro Kart Series and the Stars Championship Series all got their dates out early enough to allow some of the regional championships to get their dates together. And so the Texas Sprint Racing Series kicking off earlier this year at the end of February at NOLA Motorsports Park. The return to Louisiana will kick off the 2024 championship. It'll then head to Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston. A mainstay on the calendar will remain on the calendar in 2024. And this place, Amarillo Kart Complex, will host the finale. We'll move this date later into the fall in September. That'll allow us to get a little bit further away from the 100-degree temperatures we saw earlier this week, which were absolutely wild. And 2 open dates that we'll wait to finalize locations on, June 28th to 30th for round 3, August 23rd to 25th. Both of those are to be determined, so we'll wait and see where we go. Of course, we know we're going to get to see Rimrock Raceway for the very first time. I'm sure they would love to continue to bring the Texas Sprint Racing Series to their racetrack. The North Texas Kartway, that's not confirmed if that'll return to the calendar. An old school bull ring, if you will, that has been a part of Texas regional racing for many years. One of the oldest continuously operating kart tracks, along with the likes of Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, Indiana. But from the fields here at Amarillo, that's another one done. We look now to the Rimrock Raceway Honda Kit Karts here that are next up. Mini Swift, 206 Senior, and on down the lineup as we get set for more action from the Panhandle in Texas. You're watching Kart Chasers coverage of Round 3 in the 2023 Texas Sprint Racing Series. Don't go anywhere. Rimrock Raceway Honda Kit Car getting set to get going as they go away from their quick red flag pause to make sure the field's all fully lined, and we'll get them all set to go green. Benjamin Osborne was able to have a much cleaner second heat than he did in heat number 1 with a spin to start Saturday afternoon, then had a good clean run in heat number 2. He's joined on the front row by Brody Brown and that bright fluorescent yellow comp kart machine. Brennan Barsh, who won the opening heat race in the 82, starts on the inside of row 2. Rafe Ali on the outside. Beckley Anderson and Killian Short. And Bodie Bayer, unfortunately, spun on the outlap and had a bit of a problem, so he's done. But 6 of the 7 will make their way down to turn 1 as we get our Rimrock Raceway Honda Kit Kart started. And look at that. Oh, no. Brody Brown and Killian Short coming together, and Rafe Ali trying to find a way around him. Goes up and over the curbing on the hill, and that'll slow the 42 down. But look at this. Battle for the lead. Brennan Barsh taking over the top spot through turn number 4.
Yeah, Benjamin Osborne has kind of been the one running away with it all weekend long, and now he's got pressure from Benjamin Barsh. Barsh now starting to pull away, and it almost looks like Osborne's struggling there just a little bit as Beckley Anderson, if not mistaken, that 33, slowly starting to reel in on Benjamin Osborne as they make their way into turn number 6 now. And again, these are the kid karts. They're out here learning. But like I was saying before, Xander, here in about 5 or 6 years, we're going to feel extremely old when these kiddos are in the mini and junior classes.
Yeah, again, 5 to 8 years old, as you mentioned here, the youngest stars in the Texas Sprint Racing Series, having a ball, racing on this massive racetrack for the karts of their size and power at Amarillo Kart Complex. And Rimrock Raceway, the title sponsor, of course, a little bit more of a tighter circuit. That'll be fun to watch. Everyone racing out in Odessa in a month's time for round number 4 in August. Beckley Anderson with a great start, by the way. The young lady is up to 3rd. She had a great first heat, her first ever Texas Sprint Racing Series start. And the number 33 CRG is closing in on, like you said, Benjamin Osborne, who was the fastest kid most of this weekend. Although I will give credit where credit is due to Brennan Barsh in Heat 1. He drove away. Even when Osborne got going, he was still the fastest car on the racetrack. And oh no! A little spin for Benjamin. Beckley keeps her foot in it, goes up in the air, and she'll get back going. Here comes the rest of the pack. Killian Short, Brody Brown. This shows all the bogging down of the motors with the low horsepower, just a 5 horsepower machine, and it's going to allow both of them to get up to 2nd and 3rd. Brody Brown, oh, more contact as Benjamin goes a little wide in turn 1. And Brody, from spinning on the opening lap, is back to 3rd. And how about it for Killian Short from last up to 2nd? And all 5 are together as Brennan Barsh leads the field out of the S's. The rest of the pack, second on back, just comes into him.
Yeah, Barsh having an opportunity to possibly pull away from the rest of the field. But as you said, Keelan Short up 5 positions from the back to P2. Maybe under attack here from Benjamin Osborne. You were talking about someone who kept their foot in it when they had the collision, able to keep the momentum going. But here comes Beckley Anderson now, slowly starting to cut her way back up through the field, able to get around Rafe Ali, who is running in the 6th position, but they're all packed up here heading into turn 7.
Yeah, they're all right next to each other. Look at this, bro. They're nearly fanning out 2 by 2 as they go into the long triple apex turn 8. When we talk about how physical that is for the faster classes, it's probably a lot on the young 5 to 8-year-olds to run through that corner. Look at Rafe to the outside, Beckley on the inside all the way down low. She'll kind of cut the momentum short, and Rafe's going to take over 5th as Beckley falls back to 6th, and they go through turns 9 and 10. So what a good little pack we've got while Brennan Barsh continues to drive away from the field. Let's see how much the little bit of draft will make a difference. Killian Short's getting a big run here on the back straight going into 11. He'll close on up. Do we have any spinners here? They do have to brush the brakes. That's why we're seeing a couple of spins over in turn 11. Can they all make it through? Benjamin a little wide there. Here comes Rafe to the inside. Not going to go through. He'll back out of it. Now that'll give Beckley a big lead. So they were side by side there. Always fun to watch the parents and mechanics on the sideline because it's so much passion for everyone in the sport, and there's so much effort just to get here. They feel like they're riding along with the young guns here as they make their way over to turn number 4.
And let's talk about now the lead that Brennan Barsh has 15 seconds on the field, but because of all the back and forth that happened from second on back, able to open up the lead. And I think they're even growing it, or Barsh has grown it even more so now. 136.8 last time by. Brody Brown is in second as of now, is running a 140.5, so still running about 4 seconds faster than the rest of the field. But as you said, Xander, the rest of the pack still fanned out heading into turn 6 now.
Yeah, there's a look. There's our leader in the 82 coming all the way by his lonesome down the chute into turn number 9. The rest of the field was just going over to turn number 7. in the background of the screen. So there goes Brennan on by. Nice and easy stroll here on this Sunday morning for Brennan Barsh, setting the bar high for his older brother Tanner to try and see if he can't get himself to the top of the leaderboard in the Micro Swift or the 206 cadet classes he's competing in. Beckley Anderson again looking to try and get by Killian Short. She just can't find a way around it yet. And Rafe Ali had a run. That's kind of faded back. And Benjamin Osborne as well. Brody Brown, look at that gap for the comp cart. The blue and yellow has pulled the biggest gap of the 5 since they've kind of gotten back together, getting away from him. And Rafe's going to close on up to Benjamin into 11. I think Benjamin Osborne giving himself a little more breathing room to get to the corner, but Rafe's got to run and just again pulls back in line there as they come down the front straightaway. So here we go. Look at Killian Short as well. They're all nose to tail down to turn number 1 with 2 minutes plus a lap to go.
Yeah, still nose to tail there. And again, this is for third on back. A little bit of a spin there from Benjamin Barsh, but he's got so much breathing room right now that not really going to be a huge factor as the rest of the field here making their way into turn 4 now. So right there in the right-hand side of your screen, that is your second placement of Brody Brown. Started to pull ever so slightly away from Benjamin Osborne running in the second spot in that pack, and just behind is Rafe All-E in P number 3. But you can see on the right-hand side, Benjamin Barsh making the way to turn 7 as these kiddos now make their way towards turn 6.
Yeah, 4th for Rafe, 3rd in the pack there. Then again, 5th and 6th is Killian Short and Beckley Anderson as they come out at turn number 7 and round towards turn number 8. Will be under the time limit this time by, so I think this will trigger the white flag, if not the 2 to go for Rimrock Raceway Honda Kid Card. Look at this, though. Benjamin got around Brody. Brody's trying to go back on him. I don't know how he was able to do it over in 8 as we focus backwards. And so Benjamin Osborne back up to 2nd. Brody Brown back to 3rd. Ray Foley's still right there, but Brody's going to get a big run on him. He started the straightaway close. Let's see. Can he pull up alongside? He's looking high, looking low, pulls back in. He's going to get a big run. Here he goes, kind of looking, fading. A lot of guts to try and pass into turn 11 with the braking zone. Really one of the only places on the racetrack the Rimrock Raceway Honda Kid Cards have to get onto the binders. And Brody cuts it a little tight. Benjamin a little bit wider. That'll keep the speed up. Ray Foley's just looking high, looking low. Here they come down the start-finish line straight away. We were in under the timers, so we did not get any flag that time by. We'll get it next time around as a 1 minute 36. And again, big improvements of the Kid Cards. Remember, they qualified in the high 1 minute 40s, pushing 1 minute 50s. We're in a minute and a half time frame now for Brennan Barsh, and Benjamin Osborne was quick last time. He was only a couple tenths off him, so these kids have learned a ton. Dropping a single second or two over a weekend is massive in any class, Caleb, but to drop 15, that's really, really cool to see.
Yeah, it's all about the learning curve here, and Kid Carts is where all the kiddos take card is. Oh, a little bit of a block there for Brody, or sorry, not a block, a defensive line there from Brody Brown, went all the way down to the inside to try to hold off Rafe Ali. Ali close into that toe of Brown as they make their way into turn 7 now. May have an opportunity to send it into 8 in that tight hairpin, which is perfectly placed when you got that really long, wide-open triple apex down this long straightaway. And there's Brody Brown. He's driving right around the middle of the track. You can tell Ali's thinking about it. He's going to try it on the inside. Is he going to tuck back into line? He is. So Rafe Ali, again, had that incident into turn 1, comes back to net neutral on positions gained on track. Now he's trying to see if he can't slowly make his way up the field and getting around Brody Brown to start.
Just takes a lot of confidence. It's already nerve-wracking enough for a lot of these kids to drive the Kid Carts around, period. It's a whole other ballgame when it comes to racing around each other and trying to make passes and pull out a line, work the draft even on these big racetracks. As Benjamin Osborne, he did not get a good run coming out of the last turn. Brody's going to get a big run on him. Where does he go? Here he comes to the inside. Brody's going to run out of steam. He can't do anything as they get the 2 to go signal that time by. So 2 more laps around for the field while Brennan Barsh still showing the way. The Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Mini Swift class is on deck next up here. Then we've got the 206 seniors that will follow. As here comes Rafe down the inside. He'll get clear. Nice move. Rafe Ali into 3rd.
Yeah, got it done before they even got into the brakes there going into turn 4. Now here comes a switchback over from Brody Brown, able to get back around, and Rafe Ali now is going to fall back 1 more position.
Cool little battle going on. Behind them, Beckley Anderson has faded backwards along with Killian Short from these 3. They're running lap times that aren't necessarily far off the pace of the race leader, Brennan Barsh, but Brennan is still the quickest. And there he goes there. That was the cart just flashing bottom of the screen on by. He's already out of turn 10 and going to the final few turns while these 3 come out of turn number 8 this time. So here we go down the backstretch. Brody Brown all over, looking around. Benjamin Osborne trying to get by, not going to get by as they go to turns 9 and 10.
Yeah, he thought about trying to look low, tucked back in the line, thought about going high, tucked back in the line. Now he's going to try a possible crossover here on Osborne as there goes your leader coming down the line. Should be the white flag this time by, and it is. So one more time by for your leader. See if we can't pick up this pack of 3 as here comes Brown on the inside of Osborne. Well, thinking about it, Rafe Ali now back up in the mix as the accordion effect, so to speak, coming into play here for this kid kart race.
Yeah, back and forth we go as, oh man, they're all tripped up. Benjamin sent it too hard. Brody pinched it tight. Now they're side by side. Rafe is going to go 3 wide to the outside. This is going to get interesting in turn 1. Hang on, 1 lap to go. Brody Brown gets into second now. Benjamin back to third. What a great little battle here in Rimrock Raceway Honda Kid Kart.
And what a mature move there for Rafe Ali. He could have easily kept a pin on the outside line and tried to do a 2-for-1 special. Decided to back out of it. Now he's capitalizing off the mistakes. On the inside now of Osborne, able to get it done. Yes, he is, but look for Osborne back on the inside. He takes it back away, and just like that, Brody Brown now starting to slowly pull away from this 2-pack battle, and he may just secure that second spot if these two right here aren't able to draft up onto him if there's not a mistake made by Brody Brown. There goes Pasha Ali around Benjamin Osborne. Is he going to hold the line here into 6? Yes, he will. They're still back nose to tail, and they're closing up once again onto Brody Brown in the second spot.
And now Benjamin will get back around Rafe, and he'll also get all the way up to second. So great run for Benjamin Osborne. Meanwhile, up front, Brennan Barsh continues to lead. He'll be coming to the checkered flag here this time as he works his way through to turn number 11. We'll go back and catch that battle for second in a moment. But the 82, Brennan Barsh, Heat 1 win, and now a Heat 3 win as well. It should be the pole for the final. Good run for Brennan Barsh, and a lot of speed as he gives us the double number 1s across the line. Let's find that pack now. Look at them coming down. Final turn. Brody Brown going the long way around here on the bend, but he's got to run. He'll get alongside Benjamin. Now it's a game of who's got the most guts to drive it in deep to turn 11. We know Benjamin sent it here. He sends it again. Gets a little bit sideways. Brody gets by. Gives second place to Brody Brown, and here comes Rafe Ali to the outside. Almost. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Rafe Ali right into the orange wall. I think Deke Kodai might have just taken a diver right there, Caleb. He was cheering them on as they came across, and then they came right to him.
Yeah, hopefully everyone's okay. That looked bad incident there for sure. Hopefully the official's okay, and hopefully the kiddo's okay, but that was a heavy, heavy impact straight into the barrier.
All right, let's take a look. I think they are okay. We'll be able to pan the camera over and check in on them here in a moment. The driver is okay. Rafe Ali was trying to go to the outside of Benjamin Osborne, and Benjamin didn't see him coming. And Rafe, credit to him, kept his foot in it all the way to the loop and just went over. But he's okay. Nosedive the wall. They'll repair that. The official is okay as well. Good to hear. A little bit of chaos at the end of Rimrock Raceway Honda Kid Karts. Here's how they ended up. Brennan Barsh, Brody Brown, Osborne, Rafe Ali, Killian Short, your top 5. Beckley Anderson in 6th. And again, no Bodie Bayer here as he had a problem on the outlap. We'll pick him up off the racetrack, come back with more as AR Academy Mini Swifts are set to go green.
And welcome back here to round number 3 of the TSRS season. We are at beautiful Amarillo Karting Complex here in the panhandle of North Texas. Getting a little bit hot here today, scheduled to be up in the upper 80s, but the heat index probably with the temperature on track pushing somewhere into the 80s as it is right now, so it's only going to get hotter. Next up, we got another heat race for you guys. The third round of heats to go. This is the 4th one of the day. Mini Swift, sponsored by Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. This has been one of the closest ones we've seen with the top two. The two brothers, Carson Berry and Mason Berry, starting on your front row. Carson Berry is in that Energy Kart number 110 on the inside. His brother Mason Berry on the outside on the Energy Kart, kart number 122. And if you get confused, it's all right. We'll be calling it for you guys shot for shot. After that, we get into the third placement of Mason Quinto, starting in P number 3 in kart number 134. That Tony kart right behind your leader of Carson Berry. Sawyer Chambers will start to his outside in the 145, as he is going to be tucked in right behind right behind Mason Berry, running in that second spot, that Nitro kart. And rounding out the top 5 is going to be Simon Klein in that kart number 111 as they're making the way onto the main straight. Now we're going to go 8 minutes plus 2 laps is about to get underway here now. Down towards the stripe. Green flag is out. Let's see which Berry takes the point. And it is going to be Carson Berry in 110 making their way down into turn number 1-2 chicane complex. A little bit cleaner than what we've seen in some of the other races so far. Not a whole lot of drama to speak of. But right now, Carson Berry is starting to pull away from his brother Mason Berry, running in the second spot. As Mason now, he is under attack here from behind. I believe that was maybe Quintino pushing onto his back bumpers. They're still going side by side. Quintino now up into P3.
Yeah, Mateo Quinto a little bit deep there on the brakes into Sawyer Chambers. So Chambers goes wide. He'll fall back to the 4th spot. Mateo Quinto up into 3rd. And that alone is going to give a little bit of an advantage for Cadro Milbrandt to close on up in the comp cart there as the field works its way out of turn number 8. So here's your leaders coming down the stripe coming down the backstretch towards turn 9. Carson Berry, Mason Berry, then Mateo Quinto, then Sawyer Chambers, I believe, as they all round out at 9 and 10 and head down the bend over to 11. Pairs of 2 on the racetrack. Let's see what Sawyer Chambers opts to do. He's going to push Mateo Quinto for now. Well, the two of them were only about a tenth or 2 off of the Berry brothers in qualifying, but in the races they've been a little bit further off when it comes to consistent speed. Let's see how heat number 3 fares for them now with a little more seat time over the course of the weekend. Can they keep up with Carson and Mason Berry? Mason by himself in second, but he's not too far back. He's a little bit in the tow, about 7/10 away. Another half a second to Mateo Quinto and Sawyer Chambers, who close back up in the draft as well. So we might have the biggest pack for the lead in Alan Rudolph Racing Academy Mini Swift so far this weekend. Here in heat number 3 here's a look. That is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on your screen. Mateo Quinto on that green and white Tony kart, the red and black Nitro of Sawyer Chambers, and then up front there you have the more reddish orange helmet of Carson Berry that leads. Mason Berry with a little more blue on his. Both of them on those blue and red energy carts for Team GWR. Down the backstretch, Quinto all the way into within a car length of Mason Berry. Mason still closing in on Carson. We're tightening up at the front of the field here as we come to put 2 laps in the books. Caleb?
Yeah, Quinto and Chambers look like they maybe had a little bit of a powwow this morning, working together well, nose to tail, and they're, like you said, starting to fall off of it. In that second heat especially, there was a decent gap between the top 2 that we see right now, the Berry brothers, and then Quinto and Chambers running in 3rd and 4th currently. But right now they kind of put their differences aside, decided to go nose to tail, and now they're about to put the pressure on both the Berry brothers, something that they haven't really had experience a whole lot of this weekend.
Yeah, and again, kudos to Sawyer Chambers. He kind of got roughed up a little bit by Mateo Quinto. Unintentional, it looked like, on the opening lap. Mateo just kind of overjudged the braking zone in 4. Now they're going to go side by side. That'll hurt a little bit as they come out of 6, but they're still close enough. Still side by side going over to 7, but Sawyer won't have the tow initially. Now he'll get it as the Berry brothers move to the outside. He will get clear. Nice move by Sawyer Chambers. Took 3 corners back and forth, but he pulls it off and moves up into 3rd. But what I was going to say before is, again, he worked with Mateo to catch back up to Carson and Mason, and he kind of forgave him there for that little mistake on the opening lap that set him wide. So that was cool to see from Sawyer, something probably some of our KA senior drivers could learn a little bit of, not holding the grudge and just working together to get to the end goal of the lead. Now as they run back, they're all back together again. Good run from Sawyer Chambers out of 10. And there's the gaps, 2 car lengths apiece, maybe a car and a half. Quinto closes up, and they'll tighten up to the braking zone. Mason Berry was really good in turn 11 last time compared to his brother Carson. Not as good this time, but still close. And all of them will run pretty even lap times, although really both of the Berry brothers a better exit and a really good run through turns 1 and 2 for Mason that time as he pushes his brother Carson all the way to turn number 4 to try and build that gap up again. We're still early in the going on this heat race here, so there's enough time if there's another mistake or another pass for third that the Berry brothers can burn by pushing each other before they need to decide who gets to win this one, because we've still got 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go. It'll end up right around the 8 or 7 lap mark, so we're not yet halfway in the third and final heat race. But for Sawyer Chambers or Mateo Quinto, they pull off a second or even a win, that'll shake up a little bit of the grid order and maybe knock the Berry brothers off the front row, as here comes Mason to the inside. Thought they might work together. They won't. Mason Berry to the lead. Sawyer Chambers to second. Mateo Quinto's trying to go to third. He's still there over to 11 by a nose. Can he hold it into the corner? Carson's running him tight, but Mateo gets through, and now Carson Berry has to give way and tuck back into line. And look at this. Sawyer Chambers has gone to the lead. They're tight. Oh, no. Contact side by side. I don't think Sawyer expected Mason to be there, and they're all side by side down to turn number 1.
Yeah, now let's see what Quinto does. He got a much better run than Chambers going through turn 1. Very mature move there. He had an opportunity to maybe go door to door. Goes to the back bumper. Now the top 4 nose to tail. Hard onto the brakes over into turn 4. Snaking over into the S's now. And who's going to be the first one to break? It looked like Chambers got a little bit lower there than I think he anticipated. Still able to keep the speed up. And how about this? Mateo Quinto had the opportunity when he was going back and forth with Sawyer Chambers to keep battling it on. Decided to put that extra momentum into the back bumper of Chambers, making it possible to have a 4-car battle for the lead. A little bit of gap now, but once they get down that toe of the back straightaway, it's probably going to close up heading into turn 8.
Yeah, as they come out of turn 8 now, pairs of 2, line back up again. Big run coming for third and fourth as they're in the toe and pushing. It'll tighten up through turns 9 and 10. Sawyer pops the curb there, no problem though. Still a good run, about a car length away, and it's Mason Berry in the 122 that now leads with that more bluish front-ended helmet, headed to turn 11. There's the gap, as you can see, about a car length apiece through the final chicane. We'll come down to about a minute plus 2 laps to go. Right on the cusp of getting another one, but I think the timer will just hit 0 right before they get back to the start-finish line. Sawyer, good run through 1 and 2 that time. Really good run. He's all over the bumper of Carson Berry as they go to turn 4, but I don't think he'll have enough steam to go to the inside, and he doesn't, so he stays tucked in. Now he dives it into 5. Oh, got a little bit tight there, kind of ran into the back of Mason Berry, had to lock the brakes up, and he'll fall back to 4th.
Good move there by Quinto as well. Saw the door was wide open for him. If he would have stayed back there and given just a little bit of assistance to Chambers, would have helped Chambers. But, dropped a wheel and sideways went Carson Berry, and he is not going to fall back into 4th. Now second's going to go to Mateo Quinto.
That right there, pushing to the edge of the racetrack, just drops its tire. Now he'll have dirt on the tires for the next couple of corners. It'll be tough here for him, and a big lockup up front as well for Mason Berry going into 9, so he got a little bit sideways. And they're all pushing, as you can tell, down to the wire. Mateo Quinto, best he's been all day, up to second and hunting down the race leader as they go to turn 11. He'll close that gap up in the braking zone. Needs a good run out of 11 and 12. He gets a good one. He'll pull it within a car length here as we come to the 2 to go signal.
Yeah, 2 to go this time by into the toe. Mateo Quinto has off of Mason Berry. His support, Carson Berry, way back there in the 4th spot. P3 now, though, of Sawyer Chambers. He's barely in the toe of the top 2, but what he wants to see is right here. Defending now is Mason Berry to the inside line on Quinto. This is going to back him up into the S's before they make their way down that little bit of a short shoot for the hairpin. So if Mateo can just keep putting the pressure onto Berry, that's going to bring Chambers up into the mix as well. But Chambers he can make or break either of these 2 races. It's probably going to come down to a drag race, and he can give a little bit of a push to one of them going down one of these long straightaways.
Yeah, as they go into turn number 8 here, Mateo Quinto all over Mason Berry. He's going to have a good shot at him. Sawyer Chambers is not shown on the timesheets. He is on the racetrack. I believe his transponder may have missed one of the times coming across the loop. As they go to 9 and 10, it'll be coming to the white flag this time by, and Mateo Quinto is going to have a shot at him if he wants it in 11. He's all over him. Here he goes. He'll pull out a line to the inside. Mateo Quinto going to go to the lead into the final corner. Mason Berry ran him tight. Now he's going to dunk back to the inside. Oh, no, he locks up. Quinto is wide as well. They both spin. Mason Berry spins it as he's going for that late-breaking move. Quinto does as well. Here comes Simon Klein on that red and black Hi-Fi Performance Tony kart. And up front, Sawyer Chambers through to the lead over Carson Berry.
Yeah, Carson Berry now thought he was out of it 2 laps ago. He's putting the pressure on, trying to see if he can't pop out for a crossover move. Chambers goes the inside to defend, is going to defend into the S's as well. Swings wide. Now he's going to have to hold that inside line. Beautiful crossover setup there for Barry. They're going to go door-to-door, side-by-side into turn 10, and it looks like the advantage is going to go to Chambers for the moment. And here comes Barry now trying again. He gets the pass done, but will Chambers have enough to get it done going in that backstretch into turn 9?
He'll be close to apply some pressure. So now it's Carson Berry versus Sawyer Chambers. Mason Berry and Mateo Quinto still fighting with Simon Klein back for third, fourth, and fifth. Look at Carson all the way down to the inside. Holds the bottom. Sawyer Chambers follows him. He's setting up for this last corner. We've seen so many over-unders here. You can't go in too deep, but you got to go in deep enough so they don't do you around the outside or the inside. Here we go. Final turn. Chambers is low. Now he fades high. Carson to the way low side. Dirty part of the racetrack. Here comes the crossover as he goes wide, and Sawyer pulls it off. Sawyer Chambers wins Heat 3 in Mini Swift with a slick move as Carson Berry fades to second. Here comes the rest of the pack. Mateo Quinto third. Mason Berry gets back to fourth. Klein fifth. Cadro Milbrandt sixth. Seventh to Rodolfo Lavin Jr. and eighth to Sofia Sadegova. Well, that was fun. A great battle there, and hopefully there will be more to come from the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Mini Swifts as they rack them up here on the results sheet. There you go. You can see Paxton Dice and Ponta Medina unable to make the trip out here to Amarillo, so their scratches on the weekend shown on the leaderboard. They were not on the racetrack. We had 8 in total, and Sawyer Chambers, top of the heap, in a battle all the way to the end and gets the lead at the very last second there, Caleb, with a nice over-under, one move we've seen many times over here this weekend, and that hard braking zone into turn number 11 gives us a lot of good runs to the line.
Yeah, and it's kind of a catch-22 for your leader because you can defend the inside line there, but a lot of times I've seen guys overcook it, get dust on the tires, and they swing so far wide out to the outside line. But if you can do it right, that final corner, I guess you could call it, coming onto the main straightaway, not a whole lot of passing opportunities we've seen so far, but we still have the rest of the heats to go in the future.
So as the field gets set to go for 206 Senior, there's a look again at the lineup still to come here in heat number 3. Once again, we're about halfway through the lineup. This is group 5 of 11. Free coverage here this morning. If you'd like to watch the main events, they'll be for free on tape delay. The recording will be posted publicly Wednesday next week, so in about 4 days. But if you want to watch them live, make sure that you're a KC Premium member. If you're watching on YouTube, it's that join button down right below the screen or on our profile as well. It's $9.99 a month as long as you sign up on an Android or computer. If you try to sign up your first time on an iOS device, Apple does add a little extra fee. So you can still log in on your iOS device once you're signed up, but I highly recommend saving that extra $3. We don't get to see any of it. But, of course, subscribing, becoming a KC Premium member helps us put on all these massive productions that we have. This is week 6 of 8 in a row in a crazy summer stretch we've got. Of course, we have a couple races coming up. How about next week, the Steel City Showdown for the Stars Championship Series in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We'll be live Friday night for the first ever Stars Championship Series Pro-Am Charity Enduro benefiting Mission for Miracles, an awesome cause that works on research in paralysis. They've been able to get many success stories, and we're going to get to talk to a lot of them. And there's still spots for those of you watching online. If you're fans at home and you would like to get in on the racing action and you don't have your own go-kart, you don't need one. All you need to do is donate to the cause. It's around $75 to $100 for a slot on a team, and you'll be lined up alongside the stars of the Stars Championship Series from OKN Stars and Pro Stars, the 2 headline categories. You'll get to team up with the likes of championship points leaders Brandon Carr. How about this weekend, the championship reigning champion and championship points leader Alex Stanfield will also be captaining a team as well. And then in Pro Stars, you have the likes of Annie Rule, Vincenzo Saraceno, reigning Rock Stars champion Josh Conker, reigning Pro Stars champion Saraceno, and plenty more. Slots are available. You can check out, we have the posts on Facebook and on our Instagram, and you just need to DM your favorite driver. Send them a message saying, hey, I want in on the action Friday night at Three Rivers Karting. And then, of course, at the end of the stretch, it's the IAMA USA Grand National Championship here, week number 8 in 2 weeks' time. That one's going to be a blast in Mooresville, North Carolina. But for now, we're in Amarillo at the fantastic Amarillo Kart Complex with Slipstream Racing 206 Senior. Here we go. Green flag to turn number 1. Great start for the inside. Terrible start for the outside. Multiple drivers are off. Coleman Summers through the grass. Around the outside and way backwards went Samuel Jung and Ibrahim Dean. And the inside lane gets a huge jump. It's Chappell, then Braxton Trigg, then Jeff Shaw. 1, 2, 3 from first, third, and fifth. And on behind them as well on the comp cart, a great start from 7th for Vaughn Weber. He moves into the 4th position. I believe 5th might be Tyler Stevens, or if from the 10th position, that would be mega of a start out of that high-five performance Tony Kart driver, one of many pulling double duty this weekend in 206 Senior and in KA100 Senior. Again, Cohen Summers had to take the evasive route to go around the barriers, through the grass. He is 7th on that red and black red speed there, top of your screen, as the leaders go down into turns 9 and 10. And it's a repeat of what we've seen all weekend here, Caleb. Braxton Tregg hooking up with Drew Chappell, trying to break away. Jeff Shaw was not able to stay close enough to them to battle in heat number 2 because he didn't get as good of a start. He was trapped in the midfield. Heat 1, he was able to stay close enough, although on the outlap right now, he's a little bit off the pace compared to the pair, Drew Chappell and Braxton Tregg, pulling away as they end lap 1 and come across the line.
Yeah, these two, all 3 heat races now have been taken off straight to the point. But how about that for Jeff Shaw? After the first couple laps, he almost looks like a man possessed, trying to stay close onto the back bumper there of the top 2 as they make their way down into turn number 4 now. And they're almost in unison the way how they do there's different ways you can do the tuck, but what they opt to do is slide down the seat, get that head as low as possible, have the air go over it and around yourself as well. But Jeff Shaw, he's been seeing this from the back all time long. And now he's deciding maybe he's going to try to take the fight to him. But right behind him might get a little help here. Fitz and Steffens, someone else who's also seen these two run away from it. They're able to link up. I think they'll probably play this one mature to keep with the top 2.
Yeah, Landon Fitz was the driver on the comp car that moved up. My mistake. Vaughn Weber, unfortunately, went backwards. He was on the outside and collected in some of that carnage. He's down in 17th. Samuel Jung down in 15th. Ibrahim Dean was the off-pole man, and he is in the 8th position here. As here's a look at that pack. There's Samuel Jung on that 655 Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart in the middle of the mid-pack. As we're side-by-side for 3rd. Around the outside, looking for it, is Landon Fitz with help from Tyler Stevens. Jeff Shaw's got the inside lane. He'll get clear. Stevens will now get a run for 4th. He should get clear on Fitz and move by. And Jeff Shaw's now going to defend for 3rd for a moment. Then he moves back out. But look how far that one little exchange has given the leaders already. The midfield's going to catch up to them. The top 2 are going to get a huge gap. It's already over a 1.5 seconds and growing for Drew Chappell and Braxton Tregg. And then here's that group further back, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Let's see, does Tyler Stevens want to take over the P3 spot from Jeff Shaw? He's got himself up to 4th. That's now a 5-spot gain from 9th on the grid for Tyler Stevens. And for the moment, he'll stay locked in behind the VLR driver headed to turn 7.
Yeah, with that back and forth into turn 11, you kind of saw Jeff Shaw shaking his head, and rightfully so, because that's how much the gap has grown. The 2 leaders going by. He was within about 4 or 5 kart lengths, just needed that little bit of extra help with either the toe or the draft to get there. And now he's holding off the 2 from behind, but I'm pretty sure they might settle down here just a little bit. Once you get themselves sorted out, they kind of find their groove a little bit. So Shaw getting a little bit of a push from Stevens, and Fitz right behind Stevens, not giving a whole lot of push, but he is staying right in that toe to try to follow up to the front if they do indeed make that happen.
Here we go into turn number 11 for Jeff Shaw and Tyler Stevens. I think Stevens is content to push with him for now as long as he looks fast. And I think Jeff is still best of the rest right now from what I've seen so far here in this weekend, as he's been running kind of 3rd pace-wise, 3rd to 5th on the racetrack between the 2 heat races. I think the speed's good. If he gets some help, he can at least maybe break away from that pack once again like he was before by his lonesome in 3rd. Now maybe with some help from Tyler Stevens, because they pulled a little bit away from Landon Fitz so far. Only a car length or 2, but just edging that gap, although that won't help. Little mistake coming out of 6 as Jeff Shaw hangs that right rear off the edge of the racetrack. Tyler Stevens watching that being like, all right, now I need some help, Landon. I don't know if this is the best move. Maybe I need to go by.
Yeah, tap of the back of the helmet. He's probably trying to think of his options right now. He can either A, try to get around Jeff Shaw. He's going to want to do it quickly and hope that Fitz can give him that push to then try to clear him so that Shaw doesn't try to race back and forth. Although I have a feeling from what we've seen from Shaw so far, if he is indeed passed, he'll probably be content to run in that 3-pack for a little bit towards the time we get to 2 to go before he can analyze it, figure out if it's worth it to race it, or try to wait to get up to the front.
Here they go into the back section of the racetrack towards turn 11. We're already past halfway. We're coming to 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Drew Chappell, Braxton Tregg. They're not terribly far up the road. I think these guys might have actually made up a little bit of time on the leaders. Let's look. Jeff Shaw, indeed, 3/10 gain. So Jeff Shaw and Tyler Stevens closing that gap back up to the front of the pack. They might get there. They're only 1.3 seconds away. If they keep working together and they're moving at the speeds they are, all they got to do, like we mentioned many times before, get underneath that 8 to 9 tenth of a second window. get within a second, and the draft will pull you the rest of the way up on that slipstream effect with the top 2 drivers poking that hole in the air. For now, they're outside of it, but they are working together. They are making up ground, even with Shaw's mistake. Now this time here, Stevens saying, hey, my bad, go back ahead. Pulled up. Oh, no, he's going to let him go. So he went around him on the outside coming out of 7. And Tyler's like, you know what, I think I can lead us forward here. Jeff, you've done a great job so far. Now help me try and make up some ground on him.
Yeah, I think that was probably the perfect part to do the quote-unquote exchange. He popped up going into that sweeper of turn 8, let him go by on the inside, and also kudos to Landon Fitz. He had the opportunity to try to force the issue on the inside of Shaw, decided better of it to stay back, and now maybe this is the better combo. Let's see if Shaw on the back bumper of Stevens can possibly make up that gap even quicker. This lap is not going to be a good indication, but next time by, we'll see if it's going to be possible.
Yeah, we'll at least get a good lap time idea of how good Tyler Stevens is. They will give up some time in the exchange, and it was okay. Cohen Summers was the fastest. That's that black suit on the red speed behind him. Remember, Cohen dirt track that thing. I don't know if it's fully straight or anything got bent, having to rough it through the off-track excursion, but he's up to 6 right there on your screen as he gets a little bit too much help from behind. That was Sawyer Roussel trying to push him forward. Just got in a little bit too hot to turn number 4, but they're still in the wake of Landon Fitz. And behind them, as now Sawyer is going to go to the inside for 6th. Back behind this group of 3, Sawyer Roussel on the white helmet goes through. Cohen Summers goes back around him, says, hey, use your head, buddy. We're almost at them. Now we got to make up that ground once again. And back behind, we saw last time by, as Roussel pulls out again on Cohen. He's going to go by saying, hey, I hear you, but follow me. Let's go forward this way. And he'll win the argument for the moment. Kelvin Zhang there right behind the race winner, multi-time race winner back in 2022. Still looking for win number 1 on the season as he contends for the title in the 666 MGM. He's worked his way from a dismal qualifying effort in all 3 heat races, having to start 14th. He's up 6 spots right now in the 8th position, just ahead of Luke Waller's High-Five Performance Tony Kart, and Ibrahim Dean, the off-pole man, has faded back to the 10th spot on that Kart Racing Solutions Tony Kart. We're within 2 to go now, so 2 laps remaining for Drew Chappell and Braxton Tregg with a 1.2 to 1.4 second gap back to Tyler Stevens. Stevens, the gain that time, 4/10. That was huge. He's closing up and bringing that pack with him.
Yeah, so it looks like Shaw is the better pusher between the 2 of them. And look, he's trying a different aero effect. Everyone's got their own different ideas of how to make themselves more aerodynamic. Apparently his to put his arms out to the side and not quite and tuck his head down, but, you know, everything works different for everybody, but he's getting a good push there from Jeff Shaw on the backstretch. And like you said, they're approaching that point right now. If they're making up another 4/10, they're going to be in that drafting range. I think they're starting to get into it right now. Wouldn't be surprised if going into turn 11 is when they really start to close it back up. And they're bringing with them, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be Landon Fitz running right there behind him in that comp cart. He probably can't hang with them by himself, but he's using that draft, playing it very smart, and just following them up through it, waiting for whatever chaos may happen, and probably going to pick off a couple of spots if it does happen.
Well, they're going to get there here right at the end. They might be close enough to force something here on the final lap as Braxton Tregg has started to fade in the last couple laps of this one. That was a 4/10 gain for Tyler Stevens. They're within the draft window, within a second now. Jeff Shaw pushing away on him, trying to get there. They are making up ground. They are tracking down the leaders. We're on the final lap, though, so they're going to run low on time. Drew Chappell still leading here, going a little wide through 5 and 6. Braxton Tregg trying to push, trying to stay close to him as they both take a check over their shoulder. They see the carts in the background, including that High-Five Performance red and white Tony Kart of Tyler Stevens, getting bigger and bigger in their vision. And he is just going to come up, I think, a little bit shy. Maybe get to the bumper of Jeff Shaw by the end. I don't know if he'll be close enough to do anything, though. Down the backstretch for the final time to turns 9 and 10. Drew Chappell there on that gray and black comp cart has led almost every lap of competition here this weekend. As he rounds turn 10, Braxton Tregg hasn't tried to pass him in any of the heats. He just wants a safe starting spot for the main. Drew knows that. He'll leave the door open. No, he'll defend it because he saw Braxton starting to go on him. Braxton Tregg trying to line him up for an over-under. Let's see, coming out of the corner. Chappell's wide. Tregg's got the momentum. And the number 1 plate, the reigning champ, puts one over on Drew Chappell. Braxton Tregg wins it in Heat 3. So Braxton Tregg, your winner over Drew Chappell here as the field cycles on by. And an emphatic pump with a fist there for the number 1 plate. He gets the Heat 3 win. That'll spice things up a little bit. That'll at least secure him on the front row for sure. Tyler Stevens will end in 3rd there, a 6-spot gain as we look towards the rest of the pack and how everyone else cycled on through. Jeff Shaw fourth, Landon Fitz fifth, Roussel, Kelvin Shing, and Luke Waller got around Cohen Summers at the end for 7th and 8th. Summers fades to 9th. Ibrahim Dean in the 10th spot, and then Samuel Jung, that rough race, not the heat he wanted, from 4th on the grid, ends up 19th there. He was the biggest loser out of the turn 1 carnage. So unfortunate deal for Samuel Jung, Ibrahim Dean, and a handful of others there like Vaughn Weber, who ends up at 15th from starting inside the top 10. But great stuff for the number 1 plate. Braxton Drake, proving why he was able to win that championship back in 2022. KA Masters on grid, KA Junior Open Shifter, 206 Cadet, 206 Junior, and KA Senior still to run here in the morning round of heat races on Sunday. KA 100 Master presented by Kart Racing Solutions getting set to go green here. Morgan LeBaron and Kyle Uchinsky have that high-five performance lockout of the front row. It's the Cruise Racing Development LN kart of Miguel Mir on the inside of row 2 alongside Dr. Thane Morgan, the original owner of Amarillo Kart Complex. Pass the reins and the torch over to Kyle Uchinsky, who has taken what was already a fantastic facility to a whole other level here this weekend, and boosted as well by the elevated view we've been able to get thanks to his brand new viewing tower. And this is our shot right here as we watch them come down the front straightaway. 20 drivers strong. K Master, oh man, a little bit awkward for the green, and it will not get it. So we go yellow, and we'll send them around. And now Morgan LeBaron will have to try and hustle it to maximize the on-track time, or take his time and hopefully run the clock, because we're under yellow now, no green. But the timer starts for the 7 minutes plus 2 laps on the heat race.
Yeah, both LeBaron and Uchinsky are a little quicker than what we saw from the micro race when they do the wave off start, because they know that the clock's starting to run. They're trying to get back to the green as fast as possible. But you can't go too fast. You still have to go at the pace lap that you did when you came back out. And, oh, we got one off the track. Looks like the 454 coming to a stop. That is Neil Faulkner, if I'm not mistaken.
No left front tire. Look at that. No left front tire. It looks like the left front just came completely off that comp cart. So Neil Faulkner, his son Jake, running in the K100 senior class, has Neil pretty busy, and they're going to drag him off to the side. So that hurts as well, unfortunately, for Neil. So no green, and maybe that was it. There it is. There's a look at the tire coming right off of the hub. Lug nut's just either stripped or not tight for Neil Faulkner, unfortunately, so we'll have to watch this one from the sidelines, but we'll send them back around and get set for green. You're in Kart Racing Solutions KA100 Master. Morgan LeBaron's been the man to beat here this weekend, Caleb. Miguel Mir was able to get through and get him in both heat races, but still, LeBaron's speed looked good, and of course, he was quickest in qualifying. But he needs a good heat, and he needs Miguel Mir to kind of fade backwards. Mir has been able to run through a sea of high-five performance Tony karts and lead them all. And talked with his tuner Tom Owens last night. He said, well, good day. Everyone's fast, though. He's like, yeah, man, we got to keep finding speed because everyone keeps getting faster and faster by the session. So let's see if that bright yellow and blue Cruise Racing Development LN kart can pull it off again, or can Morgan LeBaron use the pole position to his advantage to pull away. There's less time now. 2 minutes burned on that aborted start. Puts us with 5 minutes on the clock plus 2 laps. It'll be a sprint to the finish. Green flag down to turn 1. Let's see him to the opening chicane. Yuchinski gets to second, Mir to third. Side by side for third, fourth, and fifth. Or fourth, fifth, and sixth, sorry, as Dr. Thane Morgan falls down the order. And a good run for Ademar Callargo. I believe he was able to get up into that P4 position, and indeed he is, with the white front bumper and black suit, as there's a couple together. James Lundberg is involved, along with the 467, it looks like, of a little further back in the field, or that may have been the 450. No, that was the 467 to Thane Morgan. So Morgan and Lundberg collected in turn 4. The driver who started in the 4th position, Thane Morgan, out of it already. The top 3 with a big gap back to Ademar Callargo in 4th. And it looks to be either Gary Glanger, I think, on that orange suit on the high-five Tony kart in 5th. But up front, Morgan LeBaron leading the way in the 415, the bright yellow gloves showing the way around here at Amarillo Kart Complex with Yuchinski on that chrome stilo helmet. Right behind him, headed to 11.
Yeah, Miguel Mir in third.
Oh! Yuchinski wide and blows turn 11, and on through goes Mir.
Yeah, that's just what Mir wanted to see. He had the 2 teammates out in front of him of both LeBaron and Yuchinski. Now he's going to split the pack. He was struggling to keep up on the backstretch, probably waiting for his tires to come in. And if he did set it up for later in the heat, this is bad news for him because they burned those 2 minutes before coming to kick the green the second time. But now LeBaron out in front. Let's see if Mir might be able to crank up the heat just a little bit quicker. But Yuchinski probably not going to want to work with Mir at all. He's probably going to try to get around him if he gets to his back bumper, maybe for a lap or 2. But he'd probably rather have him and LeBaron on the front row than helping Mir to possibly crack into that front row as well.
Yeah, here we are through turn number 8 for Morgan LeBaron. Miguel Mir right in tow. And again, methodically getting his way forward here. Clean start for the number 1, closing his way up to second. And only a car length back from Morgan LeBaron, who carried a little bit better speed through turn 9 that time, used all the racetrack, and he opened that gap just a little bit more. Car length and a half, maybe 2, headed into 11 as he runs the normal line into the zone. Mir closes back up under brakes. Good run there as he popped the curb. Miguel Mir's got a little bit of steam down the front stretch. Not enough to make a move, but enough to ride in line and set the fastest lap of the session. 66.48. That was 3/10 better than the race leader. Here he comes on the bumper. Miguel Mir, is he going to poke out a line? Not this time to turn 4. He'll stay tucked in with 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, Miguel Mir in turn 1 goes over the curb so beautifully. Doesn't pop the cart up in the air, almost just hooks it and it curves its way through. And Yuchinski running in P3 almost looked like they were pulling away from him going down to that backstretch ending into turn 11. But I think Yuchinski is just better in the slower, more windier parts of the track, maybe better gearing on the bottom end, or maybe the chassis is set up that much better. But I'm curious to see on this backstretch now if these top 2 are going to continue to pull away. As coming out of that bull, heading down into turn number 9, they just put a little bit more of a gap on him heading down the corner. So Yuchinski maybe have to figure a thing or 2 out.
Yeah, let's see if Kyle Yuchinski can get back closer after that one mistake 2 laps ago here in turn 11. He's got himself kind of racked back up. Miguel Mir trying to push with Morgan LeBaron. Now he's going to poke to the inside. Turn 11, new leader. Miguel Mir gets through, and oh, man, they both went wide. And Kyle Yuchinski gets to the lead. A big lead for Yuchinski now as Mir had to really send it deep, and it broke their momentum on the exit. And then as Yuchinski went by, nearly catastrophe for Morgan LeBaron as they touched tires. That could have been a lot worse there, Caleb. Luckily, everyone gets away unscathed. It's now Yuchinski, Mir, Gary Glanger up 4 spots into 3rd. LeBaron, the pole man, back to 4th. Callargo to 5th. And they're back spread apart just a little ways.
Yeah, these K100s can get bogged down if you kill all the momentum. That kind of happened when Mir almost parked it on the outside, brought him back down, Yachinski, who I was just talking about, I should say, who is down by about 4 or 5 kart lengths, now pulling away by 4 or 5 kart lengths. Miguel Mir, no help from behind. It is all high 5 karts behind him and in front of him. So he's kind of out in no man's land right now, no support. Everyone's probably going to be looking to get around him as there goes LeBaron back around into P number 3. And you can see him pointing, trying to get a little bit of help from his teammate there into turn 11. He's up on the wheel, trying to see if he can run down Miguel Mir. And I'm wondering how nice he's going to be to Miguel. Oh, lock up and turn around, 2 together.
Oh, no, Gary Glanger and Adamar Callargo. The turn 11 trouble spot strikes again, and it takes out 2 drivers inside the top 5. Callargo already up and out of the car. He's done, stuck in the grass. Glanger able to get back going. We're coming to 2 to go next time by as the yellows wave over there. Let's pick up the leaders over in turn number 4, 5, and 6. Yuchinski trying to run out the clock. He's got the gap on Mir. Mir is tracking him back down. He was half a second better last time by, but he's still 5 car lengths away. Morgan LeBaron trying to do the same. Back in third. He had to avoid the chaos there in turn 11. That's shaken up our field. And then moves Jose De La Garza and Kyle Walter into the top 5. De La Garza is up 6 spots from 10th on the grid, and we're coming again to 2 to go this time by. Can Kyle Yuchinski pull off a heat race win? He was in good spirits the end of the day yesterday. He said, well, I think I gave you guys a lot to talk about. I was like, absolutely, but I'd love to be able to talk about a heat race win on your own racetrack, and this might be the opportunity if he can hang on and fend off the reigning series champ. Coming to 2 to go, Kyle Yuchinski leads them out of turn 13.
Yuchinski seems a little bit better on the north part of the track more than the south, especially over out of here in the turn 1-2 complex into the S's. That's when it's really into his own. It's more to less about setup-wise and motor-wise and all about driving ability. He seems to be pulling away just a little bit on Miguel Mir. However, with that draft on these long backstretches, Miguel Mir able to close back up. And all the while, here comes LeBaron now about a half a car length behind Miguel Mir in P2. Yuchinski's got to hold on for one more lap in order to take the win here for heat race number 3.
Yeah, and it's a long lap around Amarillo Kart Complex, over a minute in total time. Miguel Mir is setting him up here to maybe make another bid for it. Morgan LeBaron as well was super fast last time by. Fast lap of the session, and he was faster than both drivers in front by half a second. 66.13 for Morgan LeBaron, tracking down the top 2 to give himself another opportunity. He's trying to shuffle Miguel Mir back to maybe claim the pole in the main event because Mir's got both heat races so far. Down to 11. Mir's got to run. He's going to send it on Yuchinski down the inside. Here comes LeBaron trying to go as well. He can't. Yuchinski holds the momentum. White flag in the air. Kyle Yuchinski back to the inside. And the cheering section here for Mr. Kyle Yuchinski is going wild as he slams the curb in turn 1, but not able to get anything out of it. He's on the bumper of Mir as they run through the bend to turn 4. Now he pokes to the high side. Mir down low. LeBaron just watching as his teammate goes to work into 5. On the inside there, now trying to cross him up out of 6.
Yeah, Yuchinski trying to pinch Mir down on the inside through the S's. Worked for him, backed up the momentum, but here comes Mir defending the inside line. Yuchinski popping out, taking on a racing line. He's going to carry more into 8. The question is, what's LeBaron going to do? Is he going to follow and wait till the end, or is he going to try to make a move on Yuchinski? If he does it too soon, he's going to break up that gap between 1 and 2.
Down the back straightaway, Miguel Mir on the inside, Kyle Yuchinski on the outside. Morgan LeBaron going to push Yuchinski here, and he's trying on the high side around in 9. Runs a little wide, and he won't get clear. He won't get position. Now he has to tuck back in. Final time, looking for help from LeBaron. Here he goes. This will be a slingshot move to the outside. Yuchinski deep on the brakes. He's clear. Mir back. Look at LeBaron. Sends it on Yuchinski. His teammate's off. And Mir and him make contact. Yuchinski in the grass wins heat 3. The crowd is pumped up for him. It is craziness here. And oh my goodness, Miguel Mir and Morgan LeBaron on the final lap. Wow, did it hurt LeBaron. He crosses the line all the way down in 15th as they banged wheels coming to the stripe. That was wild. That was entertaining. That was KA100 Master presented by Kart Racing Solution. The crazy old men putting on a good show. Miguel Mir ends up down in the 3rd spot by the end. Kyle Yuchinski, your heat race winner for the first time this weekend here in double duty for 206 Heavy and KA Master. Jose De La Garza second. Mir, Walter, Miller the top 5. Then it's Tyson Knight, Tam Dien, Scott Cherry, Evan Kozak, and Doug Foxworth to round it off. And again, Man, oh man, was that a good run. This turn 11 complex gives us so much action coming to the line, Caleb.
Yeah, you got that long run backstretch going into the quick little tight left-right, and then you have that second long straightaway all the way down to turn 11. 11, I had only seen on the camera, walked it on track yesterday. It's a lot tighter than it looks on camera, but it makes for some fantastic last-minute passing opportunities.
So with that here, we'll take another break in the action. K100 Junior, presented by Wilshire Racing Engines, is up next as we move to the back half of the lineup. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 still to go here for heat number 3. You're watching Car Chasers coverage of round 3 in the 2023 Texas Sprint Racing Series. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Rimrock Raceway, the premier karting facility and motorsport-themed venue in West Texas. While you're at the track, be sure to stop into Victory Lane and enjoy our full-service bar and event center. We have live music and entertainment weekly, along with Texas's fastest go-karts available to the public. Located on West Highway 80 in Odessa, get your adrenaline pumping at Rimrock Raceway and live life full throttle.
Wilshire Racing Engines onto the circuit here. One of the bigger turnouts on the field at 28 total cars on the entry list. And it's Diego Guillot who will get to lead him to the green once again. He has been super fast in all 3 heats, but so has his Allen Rudolph Racing Academy teammate Landon Skinner, who starts 3rd, and the kid who leads them out on the outlap here in that black and red and chrome Musgrave Racing Company factory kart. Truly Adams, the Californian, hot off his first career national level American win back in Salt Lake City, Utah 3 weeks ago, will join the front row. He was a little bit off in Heat 1, a little better in Heat 2. They've been making progress all weekend, and they've been getting truly tuned up. Behind him, Graham Tremble was super fast in that second heat to end off Saturday on the Cosmic Kart, the all-white 866. Row 3's got Tyler Roberts on the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart on the inside. To the outside, David Ybarra in the Air Academy OTK. Then you go further back to row 4, Matthew Duquette with a good second heat after not so good opening heat. Justin Music's Arcane Motorsports Tony Kart rolls in 8th, the round 2 winner. Then row 5, Derek Wargo on the inside, Spencer Smith in the forward direction comp kart on the outside. As the field rounds turns 11, 12, and 13, we'll come on to the front straightaway. This will be another one that should be entertaining from start to finish. 7 minutes plus 2 laps for 28 KA100 Juniors, presented by Wilshire Racing Engines in the tram lines on the power. We're green down to turn 1. Guillot gets clear. He'll bring Skinner with him into the first chicane.
Yeah, they're going to go single file there on the top 4. Rest of the field still side by side. Fairly clean start. No one having to take that little quote-unquote escape route, the split between the 2 barriers, but already a top 2 breakaway with Guillot out in front. Like you said, Skinner falling right behind. And then they're still kind of sorting each other out in turn 4, mid-pack farther on.
So out of the turn 6 section, we look. It's Guillot, Skinner, Adams. Good start for Tyler Roberts to 5th. Graham Tremble slots into 6th there on the blue suit, the all-white Cosmic. David Ybarra is 7th. as they round the quad apex at turn 8. Let's see. I think Landon Skinner and Diego Guillot have the opportunity to break away already. Big opening lap for them on cold tires. The gap is about a half second back to Truly Adams. We're going to go side by side as well for fourth. Put GT a spot higher inside the top 5. Graham Tremble gets around Tyler Roberts.
Yeah, so that second pack. Oh, two together.
Big contact here in turns 9 and 10. That is another one of the comp cars, one of the Forward Direction Motorsports machines, as well as looks to maybe either a comp car or Beryl Art tag collected with him. That driver's already got his helmet off, and we'll check them both out here in a minute. That is the 807 of Jackson Young, the GFC karting driver. So unfortunate for Jackson Young. We'll check and make sure he's okay. You can see he was rubbing his head a little bit there. Hopefully he is all right. Jackson looks to be okay and up on his own power. So there's the thumbs up from Jackson. He's all right. Good to see that from Jackson Young, but unfortunate deal to get collected in that incident here at the end. And this is going to bring us under full course yellow, as they were just wanting to make sure he was okay. And so that's what will send us now. So this will stack them back up. And this is a standard Superkarts USA procedure. We don't see this often in karting, a full course yellow. Usually it's either a red flag and an instant restart or then a local yellow. But now a full course yellow, so Diego Guillot will slow the field down, and it'll be a single file restart for the field. So they're going to make sure they got them in proper spots. Looks like everybody's pretty content and knows where they should be. And I think we might be able to give them the green this time by. So either one more lap of pacing or green this time. I think we will get it this time, as there is the flagman pointing to the sky to let Diego Guillot. All right, good job getting the field together. Jackson is okay, so we're going to let you guys get back to racing here this time around. So Diego Guillot and Landon Skinner got that gap early. That's erased. Now they're lined up single file. This is going to get treacherous down in turn 1, depending when he punches off of how much speed he wants to carry into that first chicane. I know they're going to try and hold him tight and make sure Diego keeps it nice and slow. But very good stuff from the K Juniors here in this full course yellow. We're going to go back to green this time by with about 4 minutes left on the clock. Guillot has them ready on the power. We're back green down to turn 1. Everyone trying to hang on to their spots or duck out of line. They're side by side further back. Justin Music trying to make up some ground. He won't do much as they go side by side still for 8th and 9th. But up front, single file, 1, 2, 3, 4, all locked together here through 5 and 6.
I'm a huge fan of these full course yellows, and this is exactly why. Your 3rd and 4th of Truly Adams and GT have been able to match the pace with Guillot and Skinner, but now since the full course yellow bunched them back up, we got a 4-kart battle out in front. It looked like everyone on the start was able to make it through fairly clean, but now we're going to sit and watch this top 4. Already starting to have a break as we got one turned off. Looked like a comp kart. Couldn't quite get the number for you guys, but now actually, I say it bunched them back up, but again, here comes Guillot and Skinner slowly starting to work the way from Adams and Trammell, while both of them are starting to work the way from Roberts and the rest of the field and company.
Diego Guillot and Landon Skinner now get about a 2-car length margin to Adams. 2 more, maybe 3 from Graham Trammell back to that midfield fight. Down the backstretch, Landon Skinner back to work. Same game plan. Push with Diego Guillot. Get away from the field, but Guillot, too much speed in the final turn, and he blows it. Back to 4th. Here comes Ibarra. He wants that spot. He'll try to push Guillot to 5th. They're side by side to 1. Guillot tries to run him down low. Ibarra stays on it. Now he's in the dirt. There's contact, and Ibarra spun in front of the field, right in front of Justin Music, who T-bones him. They both continue, but David Ibarra didn't back down, and unfortunately he paid the price. Guillot hangs on. And, wow, that shook up the top 10. Here's Beckett Friesen. He's a big winner in that one. So is the Hi-Fi Performance Tony Kart, I believe, of Joey Domey, that might have been able to follow suit and move his way forward. So the updated order, Tyler Roberts is now around Guillot. He's up to 4th. GT in 3rd. 2nd is Truly Adams. As more problems for Justin Music. That Arcane Tony Kart is probably bent up from the contact pretty good. That was a shot and a half down there in turn number 2. As here comes Guillot for 4th.
Yeah, Music saw the opportunity when Guillot was trying to pinch off, going down there into turn 1, got up on the curb, popped it up on 2 wheels, and just came down the wrong angle. Probably dipped the wheel in the grass, and that's what sent him around. But as you said, tire top 10 have now been shaken up. We still got about 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes, plus 2 laps still yet to go as we continue to sit and watch. This is good news for Landon Skinner out in front, almost a second over Truly Adams running in P2 and Trammell behind.
Yeah, through turns 1 and 2. There's Tyler Roberts, a little bit wide. You can see how much better Diego Guillot was in the 1-2 chicane, but this is even more impressive out of Landon Skinner to see that he is able to keep that gap. In fact, he grew it last time by a couple tenths over Truly Adams. So not only firing off good off the full course yellow restart, but continuing to roll is the white helmet and the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Tony Kart of Landon Skinner as they exit turn 6 and 7 and now head into turn number 8. The gap, maybe about 6 car lengths, call it around there, Caleb, as they head down the backstretch. Adams, Trammell about a car length away from him.
Yeah, Trammell not quite close enough to get to the back bumper of Adams to give a little bit of a push to catch back up. Landon Skinner's got to keep it clean and stay consistent here. A minute left, so we're probably going to have 2 to go this next time by, so count about 3 laps at the line. And Landon Skinner up on the wheel, as you said, perfect from the get-go there from when they drop the green after the restart. He's holding on to that lead. I don't know how much he's going to be able to stretch it out because it looks like Trammell slowly starting to creep on the back bumper of Adams.
Yeah, through 1 and 2, another good lap from Landon Skinner. A little better from Adams that time, but Trammell, like you said, is creeping up, getting closer. Now he's going to push him to 4. I think he'll work with him for a couple laps and see if they can't make up ground together just by him pushing Truly forward. Eventually, he'll want to go by as we get closer to the end of this one. This time by, it'll be the 2 to go signal as the timer will hit 0 this lap. So a short sprint thanks to the full course yellow, kind of taking away some minutes of racing time as Landon Skinner continues to pilot the field through turn 8 and onwards. The gap last time was 8.5 tenths. It might be more close to a second this time around. Further back, Guillot has gotten well away from most. Tyler Roberts is learning a bit, riding with the kid who started on the pole in P4. There he is right there, Guillot, Roberts, and then on back to the rest, Matthew Duquette, Dumay, Beckett Friesen all here. This is 6th and 7th, Matthew Duquette and Joey Dumay working together. So Dumay, my mistake, that's on the Arcane Motorsports Tony Kart for Joey Dumay, the Arcane CRG of Beckett Friesen in the 826. We'll also see that 2 to go signal down in the 8th spot, trying to make up more ground. Then it's Liam Flanagan up 8 spots to the 9th position. Easton Cox up to 10th, 5 spots gained. So lots of movers and shakers on the back half of the top 10, while the top 5 is still pretty stagnant. And Diego Guillot, that time by, was able to match Truly Adams. He was a little bit slower than Landon Skinner. It was enough to, again, add just a touch to the margin back on Tyler Roberts, but not really much to make a dent to the top 3, especially with 2nd and 3rd working together as they are. Truly Adams and Graham Trammell doing a great job staying nose to tail, keeping the pack at bay. They're just not making enough headway at the moment to Landon Skinner. They gave up 2 tenths last time. I think another tenth or 2 this time. We're coming to see the white flag, and I think we'll just end up seeing a battle for 2nd. I don't think they have enough to be able to get to Landon Skinner by the end, Caleb.
No, they're losing a bit of time with 1 lap to go. There's really not a whole lot of chance here to work together to catch back up. So the question is how long until Trammell decides to seize his opportunity to get around Truly Adams. Probably going to wait until the latter half of this last lap. If he does it too soon, it'll give the possibility for Adams to come back to him. But, I mean, hold out these two are probably holding out hope that something will happen to Landon Skinner. But, man, he's been so consistent this entire heat race number 3. I don't think he's going to make any mistakes.
Here we go into turns 4, 5, and 6. Landon Skinner, final time through. This should cement him for the pole in the main event. And he has been the fastest all race long. He holds the overall fastest lap. We're keeping our eyes on that potential fight for 2nd, but Truly Adams has turned it up a notch here on this final lap to pull away a little from Graham Trammell. It might make it where he doesn't have to defend that position into 11 on the final time by. So as out of 8 we go, there's the leader, there's 2nd and 3rd. The rest of the field still way back into 9. Nothing there for GT. He's a car length back. It may be close enough for him to get a run into 11, but the final time through, Landon Skinner has driven flawlessly here in heat number 2. After taking over the lead, he has not seen a challenge, and he won't. To the checkered flag for the 817, Landon Skinner, heat 3 winner in KA Junior. And look at this, coming to the line behind him, Truly Adams just barely hangs on over Graham Trammell, 63 thousandths of a second as the black and checkers fly. Diego Guillot ends in 4th, Tyler Roberts 5th, Matthew Duquette 6th, Joey Domey 7th, Beckett Friesen 8th, 6 spots gained for the CRG. Archer Eversman 9th, Liam Flanagan ends up 7 gained into 10th. Eversman with a good recovery drive in the 822. He was one of many that faded back. He was all the way outside the top 15 by the end of lap number 2. Good charge back up the order for Archer Eversman to end up with a net gain of 3. And there's a look at the results here. Again, good to see Jackson Young was okay. And here's your top 10 on down. Santiago Duran and Easton Cox 11th to 12th. Ybarra ends up 13th after the off-track excursion and the half spin. Probably some damage to that car. We saw the damage for Justin Music. He ends up 23rd with a DNF just behind Jeremiah Thomas. So a little more carnage as desperation hour continues here from Amarillo. 4 classes left to run. Open shifter with Pro National driver Billy Musgrave joining the grid here this weekend and having some fun rolling from the tail end after qualifying on pole by 0.8 of a second. It'll be fun to watch him. 206 Cadet and 206 Junior. And then, of course, the Exertech KA seniors round us off, as always, with the exciting action that definitely left us with a lot to talk about at the end of Saturday, and I think it won't stop there here today. So more to go. Don't forget, again, make sure you're a KC Premium member to watch the main events, because that'll be live starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. For now, we get set for more action with 4 races still to come in the third and final round of heats. Victor Racing open shifter getting set to go green here, and we get to see, can Billy Musgrave get to the field even quicker than he's gone all weekend. In Heat 1, he was able to get a great jump off the line, got himself to the lead by the end of the opening lap, heading into turn number 11. Heat 2 took him a little more time, a couple of laps to get through the pack and eventually pull away and put some good laps together as the field does all their mock starts and practice runs through, getting into the box. There's a look at the Afro man, Billy Musgrave, on the Musgrave Racing Company factory kart, getting some more R&D in as he sets for the Superkarts USA Pro Tour season finale in 4 weeks' time in Newcastle, Indiana. The field's set. We now go to Porter Wiesensenzel for the green flag. All problems for Noah Zarsk off the line. And we're going to go green as Musgrave has to go around him. And he'll pick up 3 or 4 down by turn 1 as he goes to the high side. Going to get boxed in, but he'll at least get around, I believe, Humphrey and move his way on forward as Derek Proctor leads over Chris Jennings. Jennings, once again, a good start from that second row, puts him up to P2. He was able to get the entire whole shot in the second heat race. Not so much here. And look at them, nearly 3 wide coming out of turn number 6. It's a great battle to start heat number 3 in Victor Racing Open Shifter. On the inside, Wesley trying to get through in the 203. Side by side to turn number 8. He can't get the job done. In fact, he'll open the door and going on through. I believe that might be David Williams. Indeed, Williams now going to look on Jennings as well. David Williams in the 240 gets through there, and he moves himself on forward on the red, white, and blue machine. So David Williams gets through. Chris Jennings back to third. Lee fourth. There's Musgrave already up to fifth. Look at him send it on the high side. Jennings way deep on the inside. Musgrave gets 2 from high to low. Great move from Billy Musgrave. That was sweet. From 5th to 3rd. Now he's looking for 2nd. Not going to get it on Jennings, who breaks too deep in turns 1 and 2 for him to get by, but he'll get the exit speed, and Billy will get clear almost into 4, and he does. And it's given Derek Proctor a bit of a lead. So now up to 2nd, halfway through lap number 2. Billy sets his sights onto the race leader, and 2nd in qualifying, Derek Proctor. Side by side back for 3rd, 4th, and 5th still. Jennings versus Williams versus Wesley as they exit turn number 7. Great battling up at the front of the field here in Victor Racing Open Shifter. A lot of fun to see, and of course, a lot of fun to watch. Billy Musgrave carve up the field in the 211. He's already onto the bumper of Derek Proctor. He'll be close enough to dive him into turn 11 this time. So here it comes. 3rd, 4th, and 5th are further back. Here's your leaders. Down the chute into 11. Does he send it way back? Not enough to go into 11, but Proctor outbreaks himself out of the lead, and he's off. Musgrave gets through. Here comes the next pack. Jennings to 2nd. Lee to 3rd. Williams to 4th. Off the racetrack, Derek Proctor got psyched out, I bet there. He heard Billy Musgrave tracking him down, sent it in the braking zone, and went off the racetrack. And now Wesley, a good move on the inside. He'll get to 2nd. Good gain for Wesley. 3rd place at the 4th in qualifying, 3rd from the grid. He'll move up a net gain of 1 as he gets around Chris Jennings. Jennings back to 3rd. David Williams 4th, and Derek Proctor probably got his tires completely dirtied up here. They'll be slipping and sliding for the majority of this lap for Proctor. And look at David Williams with a run on Jennings. He's going to poke a nose to the inside in turn 9. Inside and clear. David Williams gets through for 3rd, and Jennings goes back to 4th. So good stuff to see here in Victor Racing Open Shifter. Now down on the inside for David Williams. Chris Jennings to the high side. Crossover move coming out. Looking to get back down to the bottom into turn number 1. Not enough momentum for the Magic Kart. The number 275 stays put back there in 4th. 2nd is still Wesley up the road. And, of course, Billy Musgrave already starting to set some burners down. That was a 57.62 last time by. We saw him get in the 56-second bracket earlier this weekend. Lots of laps on these Evenco Reds, of course, with qualifying at 7 minutes, plus all 3 heat races at 7 minutes, plus 2 laps. It puts a lot of wear on the tires. It pushes them about as much as they would on a normal Pro Tour day with qualifying and a lengthier pre-final and main event. And this is, again, great testing for Billy Musgrave on a racetrack with a lot of grip and a lot of heat, similar to what we expect to experience at Newcastle at the end of this month here in July. So good data collection for the factory card owner and factory lead driver in Pro Shifter. Billy Musgrave will come put another lap down. This will be 4 complete at the halfway signal. 4 minutes in, 3 minutes to go, plus 2 laps around Amarillo Kart Complex. That time a little bit slower, 57.74 for Billy. Falling off maybe for the old man. But no, in all jokes and all seriousness aside, Billy Musgrave a superstar talent, and it's he's been a celebrity, if you will, in the paddock a little bit this week. Everyone's so stoked to see one of the best stars in North American shifter kart racing joining us here at the Regional Texas Sprint Racing Series Championship round at Amarillo Kart Complex. A long drive from Southern California for Billy to come out here and bang some gears, but it's so cool to see him pulling some laps and having a good time. They're starting from the back of the field. Awesome ambassador for our sport and an American-made go-kart. You don't see that too often, really at all, in the modern era, winning shifter kart races. Well, he's already got it done with a win in Orlando this year. He'd love to add some more to that collection. Of course, the American chassis won with Truly Adams. It won in Shifter Master as well. In Utah, they've had a good amount of success in 2023. He said that last year was a lot about research and development. This year is about putting some race results on the board, and they've already got a few as we're at the halfway mark in the national calendar. Back behind them there as we look to the battle for second, third, and fourth. It's not over. Well, Musgrave drives away out front. You look back, here's the gaps. Wesley is second, getting tracked down a little by third place in David Williams, and Chris Jennings now has Derek Proctor back on his rear bumper as well. Proctor, of course, that big off-track excursion out of the lead cost him some time. He's putting his head down, putting some good laps together. Second fastest on the racetrack last time by, only to race leader Billy Musgrave. And now he's almost close enough for a dive into 9. Not this time, but I think we might see a pass for fourth or for second sooner rather than later. It'll be a minute and some change at the line to go. Down to 11. Proctor is close. Here he comes, looking to the inside. Not brave enough there in 11. He'll stay behind Jennings, who goes a little wide on exit and loses momentum. Proctor's got to run, but he's not close enough to do anything in turn number 1. Again, Chris Jennings, one of the best late breakers, it looks like, here out of the top 5. Next to that, maybe only of Billy Musgrave, who rounds through 4, 5, and 6. Is a little bit wide there for Jennings going through turn 4. Proctor with a run as we've got problems. Big problems, my goodness. Hard into the outside wall for the 283 Formula K. That was a major, major impact for Corey Caswell. He is all right, but that kart is absolutely demolished. Look at the right rear tire at a 90-degree angle. And problems for David Williams. He stalled it in the back. Coming out of, that might be coming out of, no, that's out of 2. So out of, my mistake there. That was out of maybe 7 or 8, maybe turn 6. So David Williams back going here out of turn 8. That was out of turn number 7. David Williams stalls out. He was in the 3rd spot, tracking down Wes Lee, and now he falls down the field. So more chaos, more calamity here as the leaders round out at 2. It's 3 laps to go now, and the updated order has Wes Lee second. Jennings now back up to 3rd. Proctor gets moved to 4th. Juan David Gomez 5th, and Zarskin 6th, who stalled off the line. Isaac Treza-Alamond is 7th. Eric Vanderdussen 8th. David Williams is 9th after the spin and stall. And Iron Pedraja is down in the 10th position. Justin Humphrey will cycle through to 11th after Corey Caswell cycles down the order with that DNF. So lots of chaos in the final few moments of this 3rd heat race in Victor Racing Open Shifter. We're keeping our eye on the battle for 3rd right now. Chris Jennings has it. Derek Proctor wants it as they go to 11. They'll see the double sticks. 2 to go here as Billy Musgrave carves his way to turn 4. This battle for 3rd. Exits 11. Proctor, good run. Still, again, nothing he can do with it as they have to bottleneck through 12 and 13 and come down the front straightaway. Caleb?
Yeah, they're making their way through. Oh, a little bit of a sideways there. The back end kicked out for your second placement of Wes Lee there for a moment with the back bumper of Proctor right behind him. So they continue to go back and forth through the S's. Or sorry, that wasn't Wesley. That was Proctor and Gomez who are going back and forth.
Proctor and Jennings, there for 3rd. Jennings and the Magic right there. Proctor in 4th. And again, 2nd is still Wesley on the comp cart. But Jennings a little bit sideways. He's been driving it in deep and sending it. And now the tires are at the end of their life here for those Avinco Reds at the final heat race. Jennings trying to hang on over Derek Proctor behind him. 2 cars back. The white flag will wave this time by as Musgrave is already coming through the final sector. These guys coming through turns 9 and 10. They'll round the bend and head to the final few S's here. And again, Musgrave, Lee, Jennings, Proctor, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th headed to turn number 11.
Yeah, so hard on the brakes there into 11. It looks like they're maybe starting to reel in Wesley ever so slightly as this continues on. But with the white flag out, probably not feasible to catch up here in the short amount of time. But it is probably going to give them the boost of confidence like you've been talking about all weekend long going into the feature. There's Billy Musgrave out in front, only a 10-second lead, not like what we used to see at all here in the first 2 heats. So a little bit closer than it has been before. But as we're talking about, Billy Musgrave out here getting some seat time as he's probably getting set to go for the SCUSA Pro Tour Summer Nats at Newcastle Motorsports Park, and also continuing to improve R&D on that American-made chassis. You can see him reaching down there, making all sorts of adjustments, probably to the carburetor there that he has. But awesome to see some national-level talent coming out here and showing the regional guys, hey, you know, you can get there. I'm out here having fun. You guys are out here having fun. Let's just out here have a good time. And I'm sure besides all the developments going into it, he's having a blast out here at Amarillo.
Heat win there for Musgrave as he'll sweep them all from the back of the grid. And like I said, it's a good meter stick for the rest of the field as Wes Lee will now work his way to the final few corners here. Chris Jennings behind him. It should all stay the same. Lee, Jennings, Proctor, second, third, and fourth. It'll take a while for the rest of the pack to cycle on through as Musgrave comes on by the shot there in turn number 6. And we'll watch the rest of them come through for the checkered flag. Juan David Gomez, 5th. Noah Zar, 6th. That's Isaac Treza Alamond in 7th. David Williams rebounds back to 8th. Eric Vanderdussen will end 9th. Iron Pajaha, 10th. Justin Humphrey. And then that gnarly crash for Corey Caswell on the front straightaway. Heavy impact with the outside retaining wall. He will have to go to work here during the lunch break before his main event to get that Formula K chassis all fixed up. 3 classes still to go. 206 Cadet is now up next here. 206 Junior will follow. And Exertech K100 Senior will round off our morning show here on Kart Chaser. So once again, if you're joining us, make sure you got that premium membership to watch the mains. If you're enjoying the free coverage here, you can enjoy more free coverage of the mains when they get posted on Wednesday next week. And for all that, again, we'll be right back with more 3 heat races remaining before we have the grids fully set, locked and loaded for main events this afternoon from Amarillo.
Bro, I want to see this airplane. Plane chaser. Oh, that's dumb. These guys coming from this way?
I'm plane chasing, bruh.
Oh, you see it?
No.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I see it. I see the plane. Can I follow that plane?
Oh, that's a commercial plane. What's it come during the race?
It's probably gonna happen on the roll-up lap.
Oh, shit, like during the race.
We got another guy coming up from radio station or wherever. Just tell him where he can be and where he can't be. Photographer and radio guy coming up. Tell him where he can be. That's our cover. Make sure to get
that invisible line treatment. It'll be like, this is the line. Where's that damn plane at? Dude, that asada burrito is gonna go so hard. You look up.
And welcome back here to round number 3 of TSRS at Amarillo. We're about to get underway for the third round of heats for 206 Cadet, sponsored by Kept Clothing. Your front row is going to be Kate Casper and Ashton Wyatt, two that we have already seen previously today in the 206, in the micro and mini division. Now about to make their way in the 206 Cadet. Again, same order for everyone else. 8 minutes plus 2 laps is going to be the distance here this afternoon. We've already seen a whole bunch of chaos from the get-go, whether it be a called-off start, full course cautions, and chaos down into turn 1. But overall, pretty tamed here on the starts we've seen so far. But I have a feeling that once the features come to, it is going to be a little bit more chaotic than what we've seen. So as we said before, Casper and Wyatt, your front row. Westfall and Barsh in 3rd and 4th. Smith and Quinto is going to be your 5th and 6th starting spots. A little bit fast here on the start, but they are going to throw the yellow, so we're going to send it one more time around. And that'll give us more time. Oh, we got 2 already turned around. Went head first there into turn 1, not even getting the green flag. That is the 295. A little bit farther back on the order of Wyatt Slider in the 13th position. I think that was Theodore Mitchell in the 220 as well. So, yeah, there's the count. 5 total spin-outs of the weekend before they have gotten the green flag during the warm-up laps. So we're going to send them one more time around, a little bit faster on the start, and they're still speeding their way through. Again, the timer starts whether the start is called off or you're given the green. So the meter is running. So this is eating into the time. And so Ashton Wyatt's trying to pace the field around a little bit quicker than normal that we see in the warm-up. And there's a flag marshal off to the left-hand side trying to get him slowed back down. And still a little bit fast there for Wyatt. Again, Westfall is going to be your front row. Barsh in 3rd. Smith in P4. Mateo Quintino starting in P5. And then Milbrandt, Tracy, Edolds. That mid-pack that have been almost branching their way up towards that front pack that we've seen in the 206 Cadet. And I have a feeling if they can get it figured out, maybe bunched it back up in that mid-pack, they might find their way up to the front. Here's a good pace that we see. Gotten themselves slowed down again. That's Ashton Wyatt in the 221 on the inside. Brandon Westfall on the outside, starting in the left-hand side as we're about to send it underway.
So as the 206 Cadets, presented by Kip Clothing, get themselves set to go green here for the third to last heat race of the morning. Again, we're under the yellows, so with the aborted start, we have lost some time on this session. It will be a dash just like in KA 100 Master. Ashton Wyatt, Braden Westfall. Braden Westfall's been phenomenal here this weekend. A breakout star for the 248 Kart Republic of Braden Westfall. Ashton Wyatt trying to end the streak here and get himself back a heat race win. Maybe try and steal the pole away in the main event as we get underway to turn 1. And, oh, man, Wyatt and Westfall both get pushed wide, and Wyatt gets the worst of it. Ashton Wyatt falls all the way to the rear. Braden Westfall falls down into 5th. And off the jump, Tanner Barsh, the big benefactor. He goes from way back and starts 3rd and then moves his way up to the lead. It's Mateo Quinto in 2nd. Chris Tracy is 3rd. Back behind him on the Ricardo kart, I believe that might be Dean Garrior into 4th. And they're side-by-side behind there with Kedro Milbrandt in the 5th spot.
Yeah, so continuing on, and as we've seen before, the top 4 or 5 get single file before they even make their way into turn 3. Rest of the field bunches back up. Heartbreak for Ashton Wyatt, your pole sitter. Probably going to slot in somewhere back into the 10th or 11th position behind everyone else. So it's going to move everyone up 1 spot in total from the get-go. And I believe off the camera view there was Edolds making his way up on that inside line. There he is just farther back in that second pack of the field, trying to branch it back up to the front. But we're going to switch back over here to your front runners again. That is Tanner Barsh, who started in P3 up into P1. Right behind him is the 2:34 of Mateo Quintino in that second spot. It's already a 3-pack breakaway out in front. 3 minutes and 47 seconds plus 2 laps still yet to go, with Tracy out there in P3 pushing their way back through.
Check this out here, folks. A flyover coming through. Big thanks to Tim Cullum, our on-site medic, for the flyover we get to see. Check it out. We were set to have that right at the end of the heat races. We're a little behind, so it's coming during 206 Kept Clothing 206 Cadet. But cool little shot there of the flyover as out of turn number 6 we go, with still Tanner Barsh showing the way. Mateo Quinto in second. Chris Tracy third. Big gap back to the next group with fourth Dean Gary Orr and fifth Braden Westfall. We'll see if the midfield fights. I don't know if we'll see much up front. Westfall's carved his way up one spot from last lap. He's looking for another. Here he comes inside. Braden Westfall to fourth. So good run from the outside front row, although he overshoots it. And back through is Dean Gary Orr, and lining up behind him there in the white car, that is Thomas Smith. And on the GFC, I believe, and right behind him is Emmett Eddles on the MSL Racing Bureau Alert as they go down to turn number 11. Cadro Milbrand. Here's another look at the flyovers. It's coming back through. What a cool shot. The planes here checking it out over Amarillo Kart Complex and giving us some sky trails. Here as around goes Cadro Milbrand over in 11. A big spin for the comp cart. He's off the racetrack, unfortunately.
Yeah, beautiful shot there. That T6 Texan making the way over the field right now. How about that here for Amarillo? Improvements coming all the way through. Also one of the first races with the flyover here that I've seen so far as we switch back over to the battle for the top three as Tanner Barsh still out in front, Quintino, Tracy in order. But that battling back and forth with Gary Orr and Westfall and the entire field behind has allowed that gap to continuously grow from third and fourth. Right now it's sitting at about 2.1 seconds, so unless that second pack can ease it back down, maybe take up a little bit of time here, although with 1 minute and 48 seconds and 2 laps to go with the shortened race that they had from that call-off start, they're probably not going to settle down at all. They're probably going to continue to battle it over for that fourth position because, as Xanders was talking about, the aggregate system that they have, every point counts here when it comes to the heats.
Yeah, you wouldn't think in a normal race you'd want to battle it for every spot in the mid-pack, but here it can make a difference. That being said, Dean Gary Orr being a loyal pusher to Braden Westfall. There still is a little time left. Little bit of a bobble through 11 for Westfall as he sent it deep on the brakes there. The downside is they're way back from the rest of the pack. The top three were also a lot faster last time by, so even with Braden Westfall going by Dean Gary Orr and trying to pull the pack forward, they're 3.5 seconds away. They need a lot to happen to bring them back into the mix, as the top three have done a phenomenal job of staying lined up, staying single file, and keeping the margin out back to this kid here, Braden Westfall, and to the rest of the midfield as well. Dean Gary Orr there in the blue and white Ricardo kart, the all-white, I believe, beer alert, the all-white machine of Thomas Smith, and then Drew Blem up there in the 7th spot. How about Aston Wyatt climbing back forward? You can see on the left side on the leaderboard, he's back up to 8, so good drive back up the field for Aston Wyatt. His progress forward may end around there. I don't think he's fast enough to close that. So far as the timer ticks 0 just now. Next time by will be 3. So far as the timer ticks 0 just now. Next time by will be 3, or next time by it'll be 2 laps to go, showing 3 to go right now for Quinto. Then Tanner Barsh, then Chris Tracy, first, second, third. Braden Westfall fourth. Dean Gary Orr is 5th. Thomas Smith is 6th. Drew Blem, Aston Wyatt, Emmett Eddles has faded back to the 9th spot. Will Stevens is 10th. Theodore Mitchell, Wyatt Slider. Cadro Milbrand, we saw on your screen spinning out earlier. Unfortunately, it'll be a DNF for him and a DNS for Cade Casper, which was surprising to not see the Trackside Karting Services GFC. The main events also, by the way, folks, here in the paddock, will be pushed back to 1:15 p.m. Eastern, or 1:15 p.m. Central, 2:15 Eastern. So we're going to add 15 minutes to the timer for main events. Just to give our hard-working team at the Texas Sprint Series a little bit more time for lunch. So, again, main events will be at 1:15. Coming to the line this time here, there is the 2-to-go signal for the top three. Mateo Quinto still showing the way over Tanner Barsh and Chris Tracy. Braden Westfall was still slower last time than they were together. Gave up some more, so it's just going to come down to them. Look at Tanner Barsh to the inside. He gets through on Mateo Quinto for the lead. So Barsh back to the point. Quinto back to second. Tracy is still third there on that GFC. And Tanner Barsh leading the way to 7. He takes them all the way down by the grass. Staying low to defend. Around the outside. Now back to the inside with a nice crossover. Mateo Quinto. Can he get clear into turn number 8? Tracy's going to give a push to Barsh. He'll move up to second. Quinto back to third. Barsh holds the lead now as they go to the back chute to turn 9 with a lap and a quarter to go. Caleb.
Yeah, and he's still going to go down to the inside to defend off the back 3. And again, with about 4.3 seconds in between them 3 and the rest of the field, I got to play time and a little wide there on the exit there for your leader.
Yeah, you saw the hand go up from Tanner Barsh. He did not like that. I think Chris Tracy got in a little bit too deep. Contact was made. Tracy's now second. Mateo Quinto, the new leader. He defends into 11. Tracy goes high, tries to set him up for the crossover. Nothing he can do, and Tanner Barsh now tries to clean them tires off. He's got a lap to go. Mateo Quinto down to the bottom side. To the high side is Tracy into 1 and 2. There's not much of a crossover you can do coming out of here, but the more Quinto defends, the better shot Tanner Barsh has of getting himself back to the lead. As you can see Braden Westfall in the distance getting a little bit closer. He's now only 2 seconds back as the leaders come through the S's for the final time.
I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch back up in the 4th place as they still go back and forth. Here comes Tracy down on the inside. Barsh now trying to see if he can't get a nose in on Mateo going down, and it looks like they're all 3 going to go down to the grass. Who's going to pop up? Mateo goes to the high side trying to see if he can't roll momentum, and then Tracy trying to see if he couldn't, Barsh easing his nose back down. And as I say about Westfall, he has now joined the party.
Welcome back up front. Braden Westfall has spent the whole race catching up to the leaders. He's finally here, hoping for some chaos. To the outside for Mateo Quinto on the run to turn 9. Down the inside, through Chris Tracy. He gets around at the exit of the corner. Quinto pulled back in line. Tracy spins. Now Westfall is up to second. Barsh back to third. Mateo Quinto's got a big enough lead into the final turn. He should be okay. Stays low, fades high. Look at Westfall. Late on the brakes. Way late. Westfall is through. Are you kidding me? Braden Westfall. Here they come to the line. Not enough for Quinto. Westfall wins it in spectacular fashion in heat number 3. Braden Westfall comes from over 4 seconds back with 3 to go to the win. Mateo Quinto in second. Barsh survives it all in third. Thomas Smith fourth. After the spin for Chris Tracy, he falls all the way down to the end of the line, gets back going there. As you can see, he'll cross the line now to end 11th. Heartbreak for Chris Tracy. He at least fends off Wyatt Slider, but there's your top 10. Westfall, Quinto, Barsh, Smith, Dean Gary Orr gets 5th. Drew Blem, Emmett Eddles gets back around Aston Wyatt at the end for 7th. Wyatt 8th. Will Stevens 9th. Theodore Mitchell, your top 10 in 206 Cadet, presented by Kep Clothing. 9 down, 2 still to come our way. 206 Junior and K100 Senior on deck.
We don't got them cars.
Welcome to Rimrock Raceway, the premier karting facility and motorsport-themed venue in West Texas. While you're at the track, be sure to stop in to Victory Lane and enjoy our full-service bar and event center. We have live music and entertainment weekly, along with Texas's fastest go-karts available to the public. Located on West Highway 80 in Odessa, get your adrenaline pumping at Rimrock Raceway and live life full throttle.
Seville Electric 206 Junior getting set to go green, and you'll notice the lineup is going to be a little bit different for heat number 3 as Reagan Seville with a penalty to go to the rear, I would imagine, for an engine change here on Sunday. So the reigning series champ, the number 1 plate there on the GFC, will start tail end Charlie in 12th. Landon Welker will join him on the inside of row number 6 there in the 308 aboard the Praga chassis. Then you go up the order to the top 10. Gage Muxlow and Grayson Knoll will start on row number 5. Afton Willander rolls off in the 8th spot alongside Jonas Dovray on the inside for row 4. Ava Blem and Parker Fitz will make up row number 3. Then the top 2 rows, you've got the comp cart on the GFC on the outside of Robert Arana, to the inside the comp cart of Derek Wargo. And then your front row should be Josie Chambers on the outside and Shelby Ramirez on the pole, if it is all proper here. It looks like Wargo on the outside of the front row. Ramirez is 4th, so those two are mixed up. But Ramirez P4, Wargo P2, Josie Chambers has been great so far here this weekend aboard that Bureau Art in the 345. And again, Robert Arana on the GFC on the inside of row 2, Shelby Ramirez on the outside there in the 4th spot. So we get set to go. This is the 10th seed Exertech K100 Senior will follow. There's a look at Reagan Seville having to roll from the back of the field. We'll see how much progress he can make up in this 12 kart grid, and if they can make it through turns 1 and 2 cleanly, that'll help kind of keep him tied up. Or if they crash, the C's will need to part for Seville to be able to pick up the spots and not lose too much time carving up the grid. Here we go into the tram lines. Josie Chambers, Derek Wargo, hands in the air, looking for the green. We got it. We're racing down to 1, and on the outside with a good run as there's contact and a couple pop together, and one more will stack on in. It's 3 stuck together. The 312 of Gage Muxlow's involved. The 319 of Jonas Dovray is involved, and the 315 of Ava Blem. So that's 6th, 7th, and 10th on the grid all together in the opening corner. Seville, you saw slow at the back, was able to avoid all that carnage. He did lose some time getting through, but he's up to about 7th or 8th now as Josie Chambers and Derek Wargo get linked up already. Robert Arana behind them on that Trackside Karting Services GFC trying to close the gap. Shelby Ramirez there on the comp card is 4th, and I believe 5th might be Parker Fitz, if I'm not mistaken, as they come through turn number 8 and head on the back chute to turn number 9 here on lap number 1.
Yeah, Arana in the 3rd spot, the losing side of the 2 leaders who are starting to push each other away from the rest of the field. There's Arana just off the field of view in that 3rd spot, but right behind Robert, I think, is Ramirez, who also is tailing off just a little bit. If they can get linked up, they might be able to work their way up towards the front, but they got about a 4-kart gap in between themselves. There's the top 2 doing the little mid-seat tuck down where they just squat themselves down the seat, try to make their head as low as possible, but still Chambers and Wargo out in front. And I don't think Wargo is going to battle at all here in the next 5.5 minutes until we get down to the last 2 laps.
Yeah, down to turn number 1 for Josie Chambers. Couple car lengths up on Derek Wargo. Couple more back to Robert Arana. With lap 1 complete, Ramirez is the driver really losing touch with the top 3, but Arana's on the cusp of it too, because Derek Wargo doing a great job on that Drive Your Line Kart Shop comp cart, pushing Josie Chambers away from the field. He's got plenty of time to do that as they come out of 6th. Robert Arana, good run in the S's though, so he kind of kept the gap about even. If we go back from our leaders, we'll see Reagan Seville's already picked up, I think, another spot. What a great run through the midfield. There goes Ramirez. Here's Seville going for 5th. And he'll take it away from Parker Fitz. Already got around Afton Willander there for the 6th spot. Now he gets himself up to position number 5, getting around Parker Fitz's Bureau Art machine. So Reagan Seville in the number 1, showing that the overnight change, putting him to the rear, not going to hurt him too much. He's already up to P5 and tracking down Shelby Ramirez next on the target list. It'll be tougher and tougher as he gets further and further up the grid. But he looks pretty racy right now, Caleb. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at least get to 4th, maybe get up to 3rd. We're still yet to get to halfway, so there's a lot of time left for Reagan to work his way up the order.
Yeah, when you're that far back in the field, when you have to make an engine change, what might have you to send you in the back of the field. Right now, it's all about recovery. So every spot gained for Reagan is just another check off the box into working that way farther and farther up for that starting position for the features this afternoon. So good job by Reagan Seville. Wouldn't be surprised if they pick up 1, maybe 2 more, unless something happens here in the front pack. But right now it's still Josie Chambers and Derek Wargo almost starting to pull away from Renata, but right there on the cusp of it is Robert in the draft of the top 2.
Yeah, he gave up about a half-tenth that time, which is pretty impressive considering he has got no dancing partners at all. Shelby Ramirez is faded backwards, so 74.9 for Josie Chambers and a 75 flat for Robert Arana. Very good lap put together there. I don't know if this one's as close to their pace, though. The top two look like they've started to break further away. Derek Wargo saying, all right, I'm going to go by. Let me through and let me lead us. I think I'm a little bit quicker than Josie. So Josie lets him through. And now Derek Wargo will pilot the duo as Josie Chambers locks in to second. So Derek Wargo wanting to lead some laps here at Amarillo as we approach the halfway marker. 3.5 in, 3.5 to go. And the 378 leads them out of turns 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah, still nose to tail as they come across the stripe. 3 minutes and 15 seconds plus 2 laps still to go. This lap is not going to be a good indication, although Wargo did go fastest time expected when he got that easy lead change there with Chambers. Next time by, we'll get a great indication of how the two are doing. But right now, the gap between second and third of Robert and Josie is about 1.5 seconds. So just now starting to fall off the grasp of that drafting line, so to speak. So look for the top two possibly continue to pull away.
Look at Seville. That'll be fourth on Shelby Ramirez. Reagan's going to pick up another one. And he's got a long road to get up to Robert Arana for third. I don't know if he'll get there in time. Last time a 1:14.6 to the race leader's 1:14.3 and Arana's 15:1. I mean, he's faster. Just I think it'll be tight to see if he can get there by the end. He definitely won't get to these two. They are locked and loaded right now. Derek Wargo, Josie Chambers moving some hay. That time by, again, a 74.3 for Wargo. That was a big improvement for both of them, and I think they might even be faster this time. Here's a look at fourth and fifth with Seville, and then Shelby Ramirez on that red suit and the blue and yellow comp cart trying to ride on the back bumper of him all the way up to Robert Arana to maybe challenge for third by the end. It'll be 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go when they get back around to the stripe, so maybe 4, maybe 5. I think it'll be around an 8 or 9 lapper by the end of it all, so not a ton of time left, but enough maybe for Reagan Seville to get there. The gap is about 2.25 seconds to Robert Arana, and he was 0.4 better last time by.
Yeah, if he can continue that on, might be able to get there by the time the last lap happens. But these top two still working nose to tail. They've been exchanging back and forth for the fastest lap. The last time went to Josie Chambers with a 1:14.03. Derek Wargo almost identical with a 1:14.042. So these two linked up together. I think Wargo was correct. It is faster to have Josie be pushing the two of them. And they're probably taking mental notes right now if everyone else is doing when it comes time for the feature.
So as they work their way out of turn number 8 here, and head on the backstretch, Derek Wargo, Josie Chambers, this time with them, lined up in the opposite formation. Josie gets a little bit of a read of where he may be lacking some speed compared to Derek as they go to work on those machines during the lunch break and getting set for mains. Once again, the main events have been pushed back just slightly. They'll be kicking off at 1:15 Central, 2:15 p.m. Eastern, originally slated for top of the hour. We're going to back up 15 more minutes to give ourselves a little more of a lunch break as we're slated to probably wrap up right around 12:40 p.m. Central, 1:40 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be a good 30 minutes to allow our hardworking team. It's hot here in Amarillo Kart Complex. They need some AC, some water, some more sunscreen, some bug spray, and, of course, something to eat to get through the full rotation of main events this afternoon. Down to turn 4 with 30 seconds plus 2 laps to go. That makes this 3 laps to go right now as the timer will hit 0. Derek Wargo, Josie Chambers putting on a clinic of how to work together as Reagan Seville behind them. Again, making up more ground. Again, picks up a good half second on Robert Arana for third. So he'll get there before it's over. I think Reagan Seville might be able to get himself all the way up to the top 3, and that would be really crucial to salvaging a good main event starting spot after having to come from the back of the field. Really important stuff for him. Here's Josie looking to go through to the lead. He said, all right, I've let you lead a little bit. Let me through on this one. I want to go and take the point now. And so Josie Chambers will now command the field once again as Derek Wargo lines up behind him. This time by, we'll see 2 laps to go.
About 4 seconds is the gap that Chambers and Wargo have over Robert running in the third spot. And the Reagan Seville NP4, like you were saying, Xander, about, little wheel dip there from Chambers there on the exit of turn 11. Not going to hurt too much because they have Wargo to come back behind and kind of give him a little bit of assistance there. 2 laps are shown this time by Seville. The gap last time by was about a 1.8. Now it's down to about under a second, 0.8 in total. There's the gap on the screen in that drafting distance of Arnada running NP3. So look for here in the next lap and a half for a possible move there made by Seville.
Yeah, he's right there. Robert Arana in the 3rd spot. Reagan Seville in the 4th spot. 3 car lengths apart. Now make it 2 as the 2 Trackside Karting Services GFC teammates are getting set to duel for third. The good news for Arana, at least, is Shelby Ramirez has not been able to follow in the footsteps of Reagan all the way up to him. She's back there at the end of the screen in fifth by her lonesome, so she won't be a factor. But with a lap and a quarter remaining, Reagan doing a phenomenal drive through the pack to get himself towards the front. He still is not tracking as fast as the leaders, so he may have some more speed to find if he wants to fight for the race win later this afternoon in the main event, but at least he'll have a good place to start, as he should be lined up in that second row behind these two, Derek Wargo and Josie Chambers. Been a fun battle to watch. Coming down to the final lap in their first two heat races. We're getting set to get treated to it again. White flag in the air, 1 to go for the top two, and Seville behind them was able to get around Robert Arana back in turn 11. So move Reagan as he pumps a fist there across the line, saying, yep, got ourselves up to where we need to be. P3 for the number 1 as he exits 2. And here's a look, side by side for the lead. Chambers defending low. Wargo to the outside, couldn't get around him. Out of 6, we go through it to 7.
Yeah, these two almost guaranteed to be on the front row if they stay as is. So battling back and forth probably going to happen, but nothing too extreme. On paper, that should happen, as there's another pass back. Wargo taking the position. Here comes Chambers, pass back on the inside. And if they continue this up, if it gets a little too aggressive, Seville, well, they're down by 6 seconds. So they got plenty of breathing room right now. So these two are probably going to continue to go back and forth here on this final lap.
Yeah, half a lap to go. Derek Wargo back to the inside. He'll try to get clear in turn 9. He does. Chambers gives way. Stays high, though, as Wargo gave him some space, which was courteous to Derek. Now Josie with a run to the outside. It'll be the long way around, but he's got momentum. He'll be on the inside into 11. Derek lets him go to maybe pull back to the inside into the corner. Not going to happen. Josie can take the normal line, sends it deep, little wide. Wargo will have a run. It will come up short, though. Josie Chambers, Heat 3 winner in 206 Junior. Behind him, we'll watch now as Reagan Seville. Oh, on the final lap, Robert Arana put one back over on Reagan. Gets through for third. So Arana third, Seville back to fourth, Ramirez fifth. Here's a good battle coming to the stripe. This is Afton Willander getting around Parker Fitz with a couple laps to go, and he hangs on. And a good side-by-side battle there in turn number 11. That was for 6th on the racetrack. And then further down, we'll find the rest of the field as they begin to file through. But another good fight. This one, once again, going the way. Josie Chambers, with that heat win, should clinch the pole for the main event later on today. And let's take a look at the results as they've racked on through for 206 Junior once again here, presented by Seville Electric. With Josie and Derek, the margin ends up around 5.5 seconds over the rest of the field at the drop of the checkered. Robert Arana, again, ends in third. Fourth to Reagan Seville. Fifth to Shelby Ramirez. Sixth, Afton Willander. Then Parker Fitz, Grayson Knoll, Jonas Dovray, and then problems for Ava Blem. Gage Muxlow, we saw in the opening lap as well, gets involved in an incident and takes them down to the edge of the top 10 and a DNF. But now it's time for the final class on the lineup. Exert Tech K100 Senior is the last class for the morning here. We're getting set to get to it, and boy, have we seen some fireworks this weekend here, Caleb. Frustration really boiled over in Heat 2, and that was, again, only Saturday. Now the desperation sets in to try and set up a good starting spot for the main event. Alex Stanfield, that contact with Adrian Cruz cost him a penalty. He ended up getting credited with 15th. At the end of heat number 2, Adrian Cruz came in underweight, so he got disqualified. He has to get scored at the rear, and Aiden Rudolph, an engine change they were trying out of warm-up, if he went through with it, would take him to the back of the grid for the heat race, like the likes of Massimo Sanchez-Lara and Ian Howell. That'll be rolling tail end Charlie, 33rd, 34th, and 32nd for those three potentially here in Exeter Tech KA Senior. But it's been smooth sailing for the 2021 Texas Sprint Series champion Peyton Phillips, as he qualified on the outside of the front row and has won both heat races in convincing fashion. He had some company in that second heat as Drew Chappell and Braden Robertson kept him honest, and they rode with him the whole way, but they just rode to second and third, both of them with crashes in heat 1 that had them on the back foot to make up ground. So it'll really make things interesting because there's so many guys besides Peyton Phillips that have had one good heat and one bad heat to this point, that I think our top 10 is still anyone's guess, really even all the way to the front row of who joins Peyton on row number 1, because there's been some players in that 6th to 10th range that are going to average a 6th or 7th spot. There's also some guys with a top 3 result and then a 15th or worse result. And depending how this heat race shakes out, we'll know who joins Peyton up front. He's about clinched, though, for the pole. Outside of a major DNF that would drop him into the 30s, Peyton Phillips has put together a phenomenal weekend so far.
Yeah, I think it's going to boil down to Braden Robertson, Joey Friend, J.D. Lamping. I mean, he's been up there. He's been quick and was just a part of that friendly fire that happened yesterday. And Jake Faulkner have been all making their way up towards the front, but like you said, hit the nail right on the head. Everyone who's had a good run has also had about one or two bad ones as well. So it's going to be a crapshoot to see how everyone ends up. And I was looking out on the screen. I don't think, there is Aiden Rudolph in the back of the field. So that back group, if we see as hectic Heat Race 3 as we saw Heat Race 2, I mean, Massimo and Rudolph, there's a lot of talent back there. People just had poor qualifying runs or got shuffled to the back, might be able to pull something off and work their way through the field.
Well, we're going to watch them all as they get set to go. There's the 990 as well, starting from the tail end of the field of Morgan LeBaron going into KA Senior. So he's got a long way to go forward as he pulls double duty this week. But up front, we get set for the 34-driver grid. Alex Stanfield, the 2022 champ, the number 1 plate on the inside on the green and white Tony kart. The red black joins him on the outside, the 2021 champ. We're set. It's Exertech KA100 Senior. This is the headline division of the Texas Sprint Racing Series, and we're set to go green for the final heat of the weekend. Good start for the inside. Stanfield will bring Adrian Cruz through to second. Phillips slots to third. They're all going to survive except for 1 or 2 in turns 1 and 2. The one driver collected there at the back might have been the 969 as Stanfield leads them into the S's for the first time. Cruz, Phillips, Robertson, all right there coming out of turn number 6.
Robertson did a good job slotting right into line, starting on that inside line, coming out of turn 2, and he's getting a little bit of help from behind as well. I think that may be Faulkner right behind him. I could be wrong, but hard to see from here. But top about 4 or 5, count it, maybe 6 breakaway out in front. And we've seen this one before. Here's Stanfield and Cruz, nose to tail, making their way on the backstretch. And if you're sitting there in Peyton Phillips in P3, you may just want to sit back and watch here the first couple laps and see what happens.
Yeah, these two, again, definitely no love lost between Adrian Cruz and Alex Stanfield after yesterday. That was physical on the racetrack. Now we're watching them work together. Enemies turned into friends for the moment, or allies for the moment, as Cruz gives him a nice push down the backstretch at the end of lap number 1. Peyton Phillips right there, like you said, riding in third. Robertson fourth. Pass back for fifth. Drew Chappell lost that spot at the end of the lap there, as going around him was J.D. Lamping. Lamping having a phenomenal weekend here, one of his best weekends to date on the High Five Performance Tony Kart. He's had a couple of top 10, top 5 level runs, including a really good opening heat race on Saturday afternoon. So J.D. Lamping, P5, Chappell is 6th. The whole cavalry is lined up there as well. You got Joey Friend, the rookie, on the Arcane CRG in 7th. Jake Faulkner 8th. Ruben Asensio, the privateer in that mix. He's right behind Faulkner there at the end on the OTK, and then a little gap back to Taylor Roddy in the 10th spot, who's up 3 positions since the drop of the green. Let's go back up front and see what the leaders are doing right now. They're still single file. Cruz pushing Alex Stanfield, and they are building a little bit of a gap, but not much over Peyton Phillips. He's keeping him honest as they battle behind. Look at that. Friend is through on Chappell, side by side with Faulkner. Here come your leaders to 11. This will be 2 complete. Alex Stanfield has led them both thus far, with company watching on behind.
Yeah, I think he's going to take it nice and easy here till about maybe 2 minutes left here. Not a whole lot has happened out in front with Stanfield and Cruz besides working together. But, in the back of your mind, they're probably thinking about what happened yesterday. I mean, they could have had a conversation, said, hey, let's set it aside, wait till the feature before we figure this out. But when we got 2 high-quality competitors on track, they both want to be out in front. It's only a matter of time before Cruz possibly tries to make that move, because as we said before, we don't know how the order is going to stack up aside from Peyton Phillips. And if you're Phillips there in P3, you got it locked in if you just bring it home in the top 5. So he's probably going to sit content there in third for now.
As they head out of turn number 8 here, Alex Stanfield and Adrian Cruz still holding that 2-car length margin back to Phillips. The gap from Braden Robertson back to the pack of back to J.D. Lamping is about 1.5 seconds, and it's about another second or so to find Joey Friend. But Lamping is putting some laps together. I mean, he looks pretty strong. Joey Friend looks good. Faulkner there, then Chappell, then Asensio. Down the back chute again. Cruz just pushing. Here's a look at the midfield. 5th, 6th on your screen. J.D. Lamping in the white helmet on the High Five Tony Kart. Then you got Joey Friend on the CRG, and then this battle right here. Jake Faulkner on the comp kart for Slipstream Racing. Drew Chappell on the Kart Republic, the white and orange machine in the middle. And then the black suit and the white helmet. That is the 919 of Ruben Asensio right there in the mix. Here's Chappell looking for 7th. He'll take it in turn 4, a little bit wide through 4, 5, 6. And all good there as Chappell throws hands up, says, all right, my bad, went a little bit deep. We'll line back up and go forward as he points forward, and Faulkner nodding his head saying, all right, I'll follow you for now. So Drew Chappell now leads this midfield fight as nothing else really happening at the front. A little bit wide for Taylor Roddy coming out of turn number 7. He's going to lose some ground, but these guys are all good. Back to Asensio, and look at this. Got our first challenge for the lead. Adrian Cruz takes over the point out of turn number 9.
And that's going to bring Phillips and Robertson back up into the mix. This is what they were waiting for. Robertson a little bit farther off, maybe about a half a car length from the top 3. But now Phillips on the back bumper gives him a little bit of a push here to Stanfield. He's going to try to get the spot back on into 11.
Yeah, he will, and he'll bring the entire group on through. Robertson even trying to go. These two got together, obviously, in heat number 1. Cruz going to give way, lets him go. Braden Robertson back into 3rd. Alex Stanfield back to the lead. Peyton Phillips into 2nd as they go down the backstretch to turn number 4. Cruz P4 and closing in on the pack. Fastest lap of the session. How about it for Joey Friend? Get you some there in 6th. 104.19. He's right there at the end on the Arcane CRG, trailing JD Lamping as they head for 7.
Yeah, it's almost a 2x2x2 right now. And Friend rounding out that last 2-pack there, giving a little bit of push to JD Lamping. Lamping, also someone else in the contingency to start up towards that front top 5. He's looking for a good result, and if they kind of just sit here and wait, watch what happens in this top 4. They're slowly already inching their way up to that main pack. Might find themselves there in the next 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
Through turns 9 and 10, Alex Stanfield still commanding the way. Peyton Phillips and Stanfield got together last year, but they've been pretty good with each other here in 2023 as the two have, again, built up that respect and the experience of racing against one another over the last 2 seasons. Braden Robertson on his sophomore year as well, gaining more and more experience by the weekend. He's looking sporty as he closes up to Phillips. Cruz still coming with him, and JD Lamping was making headway. He's lost a little bit here in the last half a lap right now. Back in that 5th spot, he's going to lose the 5th spot. Joey Friend going by, and he'll take over the final position inside the top 5. So Joey Friend on the Arcane Motorsports CRG moves up. He is now a net gain of 1, having started 6th, but faded backwards a little bit off the jump. Out of 7 we go. Stanfield with a minute and 2 laps remaining here, Caleb.
Yeah, they're probably going to be about 3 to go when they come. I think they can make it back here across the stripe before the time expires. Now all nose to tail, and Cruz off by about a half a car length to a car length. It seems to be that main 3 nose to tail stacked up. Whoever's in 4th just holding on to the draft, it seems like, to make their way back up, although it looks like Robertson now starting to fall off just a little bit as Phillips has taken it straight to the back bumper. Stanfield probably not going to make a move here until he sees 2 to go.
17,000 RPMs, revving them to the moon as they head down into 11 on that long straightaway. And as we head for turn 1 now, 3 laps to go. Alex Stanfield, Peyton Phillips, Braden Robertson, Adrian Cruz. This is going to be a barn burner for the lead and the win here in Heat 3, and they got to start making moves. Robertson and Cruz, that is, soon to position themselves good for that final lap battle. I'm surprised they haven't wanted to go through yet. I get it a little bit in the case of Cruz and Robertson, though, all things considered, knowing that both of them have one bad heat race, a 3rd and a 4th. That's still a big amount of points that should put them in a good spot for the main. So maybe it's extra level thinking that's kind of keeping them, in the big picture mindset and, running content in 3rd and 4th. But maybe they want to go Peyton Phillips pointing forward. I think Phillips right now signaling to Braden Robertson saying, work with me. I'm going to go. Be ready. Here we are. Down the run to 11. I think this is where Phillips is going to go. Let's see. On the bumper of Alex Stanfield. Does he show a nose to the inside? He does. Hello, Peyton Phillips, your Heat 1-2 winner to the lead. And Robertson's through. Cruz is through. Stanfield on the outside of Cruz down the front straightaway. He'll have to give way as they go into turn number 1. Nearly clips the wall out of 13.
Yeah, that was a close one. Took his foot out of it. And now just like that, a 4-car battle for the front now turns into a 6 because here comes Joey Friend and JP Lamping now making the way back up. Cruz on point Phillips on point after sitting in P2. Robertson probably very comfortable where he is in that 2nd spot as they're coming up at about a lap and a half to go.
JD Lamping at the end of the train. Joey Friend 5th. Again, Stanfield trying to regroup now, clean the tires back off in the 4th spot. Peyton Phillips has been the fastest car on the racetrack all 3 heat races for the most part. This one, the tightest the field has been, though. He's going to have pressure, and he knows it. With a lap and a half remaining, he's not yet defending. Braden Robertson happy to push him. He may want to wait till turn 11. We've seen so many crossovers, so much chaos in the last corner alone. It's not always the best to be the leader going into there, and Robertson is almost close enough to dive him if he wants it here. Coming to the white flag, he will not. Cruz stays there, and Stanfield is having to defend. He's under heavy fire from Joey Friend for that 4th spot. He'll keep him at bay, gives an opportunity for J.D. Lamping to mess with him now to 1. White flag, 1 to go. Peyton Phillips still the leader, and it's a 2-pack of 3 now as they head for 4.
Yeah, when you're that 4th placement of Alex Stanfield, he's got to think big picture here. He doesn't have a guaranteed good starting spot. He's had a couple of good heat races, a 1 bad heat race. So if he can stay there inside the top 5, he'll get the points. However, if you're Joey Friend, you want to make up for some lost ground. And as the clock is starting to wind down, pushing is no longer going to be an option. You might get a little more aggressive here as it continues on.
Braden Robertson and Adrian Cruz still showing a lot of restraint right now. Again, Peyton Phillips, way wide there for Taylor Roddy coming out of turn number 6, but the leader's out of 8. Final time. Phillips has a healthy gap to Robertson. He's safe. Joey Friend looking for 4th on Stanfield. Turn 9. He will get it done. Stanfield goes back in line, and J.D. Lamping pulls up alongside him as well. Stanfield trying to get clear. That's going to be a battle. Let's see if they fight for the win. Phillips is out front by a lot. Robertson closes up in the braking zone. Can't do anything. Neither can Adrian Cruz. Peyton Phillips is going to sweep the heat races here in KA Senior. And Robertson and Cruz 2nd and 3rd. Across the line, Joey Friend fends off Alex Stanfield. He'll get his best heat race result of the season so far with a 4th. Alex Stanfield 5th. J.D. Lamping 6th. Drew Chappell. Then Jake Faulkner. Ruben Asensio. Tyler Stevens, the top 10. So the checkered flag flies on through for the rest of the pack here for Exertech KA 100 Senior. Peyton Phillips the winner over Braden Robertson, and that'll easily clinch the pole for the main. Robertson, even with the DNF, he should still be in the first couple of rows with a couple of second-place results in heats 2 and 3. Again, Adrian Cruz rebounds after the DQ for being underweight. And here's your update on some of the drivers from the tail end of the field. Aiden Rudolph, 18 spots gained to 15th. Ian Howell, 15 gained to 16th. Massimo Sanchez-Lara picked up 10 to go from 32nd to 22nd. And Morgan LeBaron from the tail end picked up 8 to go to 26th. But without a lot of attrition, most of the field played nice in that one. The opposite of what we saw in heat number 2 made it a little bit tougher to claw your way from the back on row all the way outside the top 30 to get forward. But here's a look one more time at the results for the Exertech KA 100 Seniors. Peyton Phillips the winner over Robertson, Cruz, Joey Friend. 4th, Stanfield, Lamping, Drew Chappell, Jake Faulkner, Asensio, and Tyler Stevens ends up 1 spot net gained on the high 5 performance Tony Kart to the top 10. That'll wrap up our morning show, folks. We'll be back at 1:15 Eastern, 2:15 Central for the main events on KC Premium. So again, if you want that access, $9.99 a month to watch it live if you sign up now, and you'll be able to watch all the main events. If not, they'll be posted on tape delay next week on Wednesday for free. We thank you all for watching our free coverage so far, and we'll hopefully see you on the KC Premium live stream of the main events for round 3 of the Texas Sprint Racing Series from Amarillo.